find play after play. Oh, he ends up getting one. Yeah, he gets two. Beautifully done. Smoke Gaming coming out of nowhere, doing it in style. What a chicken dinner, Smoke Gaming. Here comes the heat. REGNUM CARYA just laying into them with that. Now this
Oh my goodness.
Dwindle and absolute sweep coming through the REGNUM CARYA just locking in and pushing through.
He's gonna be making a push here, but they're gonna be down men and it's backfiring.
And yep, ready to get some shots down the range with a beautiful headshot there.
REGNUM CARYA just on the money with the hit score Ingo.
He's gonna make that switch. You can see it right away. He wants to make sure he collects as much eliminations as possible. An easy shotgun sends him back. Enjoying this for Team Falcons. They made up their mind. They're gonna be able to at least knock one right there.
Pushed up from 9D, two vehicles out. Can Icy hold him down? He does. That
Start filling up. And here comes the third party that we were hoping it was gonna happen.
We're trying to keep the tournament alive, but Team Falcon finally shut him down.
Which you give them two shotguns, they're going to eliminate every opponent for you.
So that was the sixth game of our life. We looked at how other teams play and the teams that are playing with us.
I'm not too worried about Alpha 7 and S2G.
And the second day we say to each other like we have to do 40 points, otherwise we're not gonna make it.
IHC, we've got the Korean best teams, D+.
So we decided together to drop on Falcon, and that was probably the play of the tournament.
It's our first time to play in a LAN event. It's not very difficult to play in because I've got the best teammate of France in my team. I've got the best IGL, Snowix. I've got the best Fragger, Robs, which you give them two shotguns, they're going to eliminate every opponent for you. It's very brilliant, so it's easy in close range fights. We've got Ozzy, the best supporter, very good in taking angles. I'm a free man, so I do a support role, co-IGLing and stuff. A brilliant brains, mindset and gun skill.
As a team, we formed 2 weeks ago.
D'abord, on est parti.
And we haven't had the best games, but until now, we've talked about strategy and everything, and we've overcome our problems.
Donc, on s'entraînait avant, on a fait quelques scrims.
That was pretty difficult because like we come from the online qualifier and we was top 45.
First day we did not too good, I would say.
First day, it was pretty hard also because we did like almost 20 points, so we was close to not pass.
After we went back to the hotel, we studied different strategies.
所以其實喺更多嘅時間就係我會花喺睇唔同嘅比賽，去觀察其他唔同嘅隊伍，去留意佢哋嘅進圈嘅路線啊，佢哋嘅打法，然之後從而去為整個 team 去準備更加多嘅唔同嘅戰術，令到佢哋喺場上面可以更加好嘅發揮。We looked at how other teams play and the teams that are playing with us, and we made a strategy to overcome them. And the second day we say to each other like we have to do 40 points, otherwise we're not gonna make it.
So day 2, of course, we did better than day 1.
然之後喺第二日我哋由原本嘅12名追到上前5名。
Je pense qu'on y allait en mode on n'avait rien à perdre. We was playing like do it or die, like just try to do our best. No pressure because we was outsider, last game we was second place, so we decided together to drop on Falcon, and that was probably the playoff of the tournament.
This would have to be it right here. We got three adjustments.
My squad, they need to be coming in hot right now to help their teammates. And they do, right on time. In big trouble. It's all up the top. The man, the myth, the legend, and get shot in.
Donc on a tout donné, on s'est motivé entre nous et puis voilà, on a réussi l'exploit, un exploit historique et vraiment je suis très heureux. Obviously we make it, so that was pretty cool. And yesterday that was only 6 games, so that was the 6th game of our life, and we basically did everything possible for do it. 而喺度琴日我係仲要係可以直接攞到第一名嘅呢一個資格，直接進入呢個決賽嘅門票，亦都係好難得。
Finally, there is gonna be only good team, but for me the main contender for the title is Alpha City and Nova Esports.
Nova is a really good team. They do good globally.
Of course, Nova Esports, the 2-time PMGC champions.
From last PMGC, IHC, they're very good as well. They're good at fragging.
IHC, we've got the Korean best teams, D+. We've got Indonesian team, Boom. I'm not too worried about Alpha 7 and S2G.
Pour moi, ça va être Nova Esports et je vais dire des plus qu'il y a. C'est des teams que j'apprécie vraiment, je regarde beaucoup leur gameplay et je pense que ça va être des teams vraiment très difficiles à battre.
São da minha equipe, tanto o Revo, o Carrilho, o Magrelinho, o Pedrinho, todo mundo. E eu sempre tento me basear, fazer um pouquinho das funções deles, né, quando eu preciso, seja no frente ou no suporte, e minha inspiração são eles. Eu aprendo muita coisa na vida pessoal também, a ser uma pessoa melhor, a ter um carinho pelas pessoas próximas. Tanto no estudo com o Carrilho, de estudar os times, saber onde é que eles estão se posicionando, tanto com o Revo no frente, saber dar bala no jogo realmente, e é isso.
Яг тийм тоочлоод дийлэх тоглогч бол орж ирэхгүй байна. Тэгээд би энэ багийнхнаас амар их юу авдаг. Тийм урам зориг авдаг. Багийнхнаа одоо тоглож байгаа нойноос нь хараад тэгэл энэ багийнхнаас л айгүй их авдаг та. Яагаад гэвэл тэгээд ойр дотн хамт байгаа болохоор. Яг тийм босод айгүй олон тоглогчдын хайлайт бичлэгүүдийг үзэлтэй л дээ. Гэтэ яг айгүй олныг үздэг болохоор яг нэг тийм тоочны нэг бол байхгүй байна. Тэгээд энэ уран зориг авдаг гэвэл багийнхнаас л айгүй их авдаг та.
Ben SUG takımından Hamsici, 2022 dünya şampiyonuyum. Onun dışında da örnek olarak aldığım bir oyuncu yok ama takım halinde bizden daha başarılı bulduğum Nova var. Onlardan ilham alıyorum diyebilirim. Elde ettikleri başarılar bana ilham vermeleri için yeterli bir sebep bence. Bizim bir defa elde ettiğimiz dünya şampiyonluğunu
bizden önce 2 defa elde ettiler ve hala başarılarına başarı katarak kendi liglerinde bayağı başarılı ilerliyorlar.
Já joguei uns corujão com o Carrilho e ele me inspira muito. É um cara que, tipo assim, antes de eu entrar em qualquer screen, campeonato importante pra mim, eu vou lá, vejo um highlight dele e isso me motiva demais. Poxa, o cara é muito calmo, assim, tipo, numa trocação, assim, tiro comendo, ele é muito calmo, assim, consegue guiar o time. Então eu me espelho muito nele.
we have a new roster. That is a good opportunity to challenge other foreign good teams. Our final goal and target is to be a world champion.
PMG 仕様に参加する意味としては、我々としても将来的なそのレベルアップを見据えてっていうのと、ずっと目標にしてきた、世界でのタイトルを取る、優勝するっていう目標に、着実に近づくというか、我々の力を試すいい機会になるのかなと思います。
Because I got confident because I had order for sure because he tell us how to play in every game, how to fight to win the fight, yeah, and how to get into the circle. Mana bagi tahu tasos ni agresif tasos key points tasos. Mana bagi tasos proses banyak tasos menjerangkan, coach dengan tasos menjerangkan, ya.
Bom, eu acho que não vai nos afetar de uma forma brusca, porque nós treinamos muito e estudamos os times. Então, estamos preparados para qualquer estilo de jogo e para tancar todos os times.
How to be a portrait master.
Boss in the streets, I'm a boss till I call. Boss in the beast, I'm a boss till I fall. I'm a boss on the beat, I'm a boss fit and raw. I'm a boss, keep it G, and I walk in the talk. I'm a boss.
Welcome to the second day of 2024 PMGO Brazil. I'm Isadora Basile, and it's a huge pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm very well accomplished by Carol. How are you, honey?
I'm good! Salve, salve, família! Já convocaram todo mundo, já estamos ao vivo, diretamente de São Paulo com PMGO 2024 Brasil. E aí, como é que vocês estão hoje? Será que tem torcida aí hoje? É isso, quero bastante torcida por aqui, porque a gente vai fazer muito barulho, Isa.
We had a great day yesterday. We're gonna have an even greater day today. Also, we have even a bigger crowd here, not only for Alpha 7, but all of the Brazilian teams are here very well represented. We have even drums and everything. We're gonna make a lot of noise today, and I'm pretty sure that the players are gonna feel it.
Com certeza. Ontem o dia começou maravilhoso, já demos o pontapé inicial. Torcida brasileira em peso aqui. Eu já quero saber pra quem vai a torcida de vocês. Então participem bastante na nossa hashtag PMGO 2024 e façam muito barulho. Vamos mostrar que os fãs brasileiros são os melhores do mundo. São ou não são?
As I said yesterday, we had a great day. We had 3 wins from Alpha 7. We also had we had Reject and we had Boom Sports and REGNUM CARYA winning their chicken dinners as well. And now we're gonna check a recap of everything that happened yesterday. If you didn't have the chance to watch, let's check it out.
É isso então, os 16 melhores times estão reunidos. Ontem saímos na frente com vitória brasileira, mas também tem um pessoal que vai buscar no dia de hoje. Mas enquanto isso, vamos recapitular tudo que aconteceu. Bora lá!
Welcome to the 2024 Pmgo Brazil, now in the main event.
He's going to be able to surprise some players there from SG. He's going to get the knock, and it's going to come down here to a 1v1. Can he clutch this up? And he does!
Deathwolves down to one player. Gotta be careful. REGNUM CARYA coming in hot, and that's gonna do it. Starts closing down. Here comes the shotgun action. The pump shotty switches that gun, gets the knock. Beautifully done there for Zebra Master. Gonna be critical as S2G with the gatekeep holding strong.
And CO later's gonna be able to spot that player. There's Silas. This is gonna be a bit of a bittersweet moment there for him, as Silas is gonna end up getting knocked.
Alpha 7 with a great push here and taking care of Next Ruya and Nova Esports at the same time.
They know they have the advantage of this circle. They're looking to get it done here as they take out Next Ruya of Pmgo Brazil. Let's see how they do it, and it's done! Order is out of there! It's the hometown champs winning it!
Is he gonna cook? He does cook one. No, that's actually Godless from distance, cooking that one up in just a three-way fight now.
Deathwolves are trying to be able to get these nades off, and they can't. Now they are trapped in between REGNUM CARYA. Yes, they do. They've been waiting, and finally just punched their chicken dinner just like that.
Esports and S2G, guess what? The Hi-Fi players just chilling. There you go. He finally gets spotted. One less thing to worry about for Boom. And Boom has the high ground. They're going to be pushing from the bottom. He's going to be able to surprise some players there from S2G. He's going to get the knock. And it's going to come down here to a 1v1. Can he clutch this up? And he does, as Boom Esports Indonesia finally get a chicken dinner. The nade in there, that's gonna be able to connect. He's gonna knock one player, switch it to the shotgun. Can he connect? He's missing some shots. He's gonna switch to his other gun, the SCAR-L, and he's able to connect there.
Oh, never mind. Mafiosa spots him out. Wild. He's done for.
That was so sick though, when he got in that passenger seat of that vehicle and then hopped out. Gonna be huge. Can they pull off a miracle though and do a 2v4 for the chicken dinner? Let's just see what happens. The reject so good at aggression. Here comes the pressure, and that's gonna be too much.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the PUBG Mobile Global Open Brazil 2024 main event day 2. Because my goodness, if you weren't here yesterday, you missed a lot of action and you missed Brazil dominating, as Alpha 7 does end up in first place after 3 chicken dinners. My name is The Sun Worlds Gaming. I'm not gonna be the only one here. I have Hot Jukes and Sute next to me. Hot Jukes, how are you doing today? They are on fire. And who's going to be able to stop them? We definitely have some theories here and there. We were talking about it with Sute. One of the teams that's looking strong, Sute, is definitely IHC.
Yep. If Alpha 7's on fire, IHC look like they're about to put out the fire. Alpha 7, you know, it was mentioned they got 3 massive chicken dinners, but IHC is right behind them still in second place. And we were saying this all day yesterday. IHC, as a 3-man or less, so deadly. I can't wait to see if IHC comes in today playing as a 4-man into the late game.
I was starting to have dreams last night about it. I was starting to think, okay, what if? Imagine if IHC can actually keep all their players alive in a top 5 situation. And this is what we're talking about. Alpha 7, there's 71 points. But the big question mark for this team are going to be those rank points. You can tell most of the rank points coming in from those chicken dinners. And IHC, with the way that they were able to do it, I mean, they didn't get any chicken dinners, but they were able to clutch out 3 top 5 situations. And now we go to the second page. And in this second page, Sute, I'm going to be looking at Team Falcons. I'm going to be looking at D+ Kia. I'm going to be looking at all these teams that definitely need to step it up.
Yeah, something to note right now, since we've only played one day, the point spread's still pretty close. If you take a look, seems like we're already launching off. I think we're going straight into it already, into match number 1, Sandhawk. Well, talk about keeping it fast, keeping it furious. Sandhawk, match number 1, day number 2 already underway. Not even enough time to talk about the points table, but a lot of these teams are going to be needing a lot more points if they want to catch up to Alpha 7 Objects.
They're definitely going to be looking to get those points there from Alpha 7, because Alpha 7 started off really, really hot yesterday. Now, one hot drop that we did end up seeing yesterday, Sute, was that fight between Nova and D+ Kia in Painan. I wonder if that's going to be happening again, because D+ Kia, where they're currently situated, they shouldn't be taking hot drops, and I think we might actually end up getting a hot drop here on the north of Painan.
Yeah, it looks like we are seeing that. Same 2 hot drops. It's once again the Rejects team, and I do believe that's Royals of War. Yeah, they're going at it. This hot drop happened yesterday. The only thing is, they were a little bit too slow to close that out, and they got third party by Vampire, so I think they're going to look to pump up the aggression this time. Rejects finding the opening, and you can tell this time around, they're not going to slow down. They're going to try and finish out this fight quick before that third party comes in, and D+ is hot dropping once again against Nova and Painan.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you mentioned there being able to finish it faster, because Vampire Esports, if they remember anything, once they hear this gunshots, if they're able to just find a gun that's going to be suitable for them to third party this, they're going to be moving on quickly, especially with us waiting for the circle to see what the first circle is going to be like. And right now, from what I'm able to tell, it is going to be a Southern East circle. So we'll have to wait and see if they're going to be third party. You can see Tony K already getting closer. He knows that he was able to get 1 point yesterday, as you were mentioning, Sute. He's going to be looking for that extra point, because look how close he's getting. So Rejects, Royals of War, you better watch out.
Yeah, I'm surprised neither team decided on a fallback plan, because there's not much loot here, to be honest. And not only that, they got third party yesterday, so they're fighting over scrap loot. This position, in the grand scheme of things, is pretty decent, you know, because it's kind of center and it controls the intersection between the 3 different islands. However, you're dropping here with another team with the threat of being third party, and you're not able to close fights out too quickly based on the RNG of loot. I'm really surprised, Seven, to see both teams drop here, especially Rejects. They had a great finish yesterday, and it shot them up to 5th place.
That's the big one for me, because Reject did end up with that chicken dinner at the end of the day. 9 eliminations for this team, so maybe they're still feeling hot. Maybe they're like, you know what, it is Sandhawk. We're going to just take our chances. If we're able to beat Royals of War, it is going to be 4 points going our way. And the crazy part right now is that they do have the upper hand, but you can see a bit of a stalemate here, and we're getting the same scenario of what we saw yesterday between Nova. And this is insane to me. D+ Kia, we have seen them being able to hot drop teams. IHC, I believe it was, in Miramar yesterday, and then we saw this hot drop as well, as we were alluding to at the start of the game. It is crazy that that team that needs the points decided not to back off and instead just fully commit, and then it starts building up questions for me as we get later into the day. Does that mean we might end up seeing D+ Kia again hot drop in the later stages? That'll be wild.
Yeah, D+ yesterday lost all of their hot drop fights. They got absolutely decimated against Nova, right? Nova just eliminating all 4 without a single casualty. And I think once again, history repeats itself. Paraboy finds the opening again in that fight in Painan.
We saw what Paraboy was able to do yesterday. You can't give that man a single pixel, because he was able to find them, and then he was able to knock him and make him an elimination point in a matter of a millisecond, at least from what we were able to tell yesterday. Here we go, Regis Ragey, OC, trying to find an angle there on Tonka. if he's going to be able to, it would open up the fight between these two teams. You can see now Nova Esports starting to readjust themselves. Dream Y6, this is something we didn't even get a chance to see yesterday. He is going to be crossing to the other side of Pana and try to find some off angles, as D plus Kia was able to reset there with the player that ended up being knocked.
Yeah, yesterday it was D plus trying to be the aggressors, and then they got caught trying to rotate back. Looks like this time around it's going to be Nova, but elsewhere we got fights happening. It is HFIYS, and Boom, looks like Boom is going to lose that player on a vehicle rotation. And a lot of teams have already rotated towards the center of the zone. Meanwhile, the 4 different hot drop teams are still caught in that gridlock with each other.
Yeah, luckily for them, they are currently within that circle, so I think there's not going to be that much pressure. But for these two teams, I think there will... I'll take that back. There is going to be some pressure from these two teams depending on what Vampire Esports decides to do. We were talking about it yesterday. Vampire Esports decided third party this fight, and now REGNUM CARYA towards the north of them could end up positioning themselves to also third-party Royals of War, also third-party Rejects,
as we saw some of the players there from Rejects starting to pull up. And this is what happened. This is how Rejects was able to get that elimination, and the knife too. He wanted to get that to try to send a bit of a message. But so far, after that engagement, nothing has been going on between these two teams.
Yeah, oh, I'm surprised he switched to the AK and used those precious bullets. You saw he only had 30 in the mag, and the QBZ already running low on ammo. But looks like REGNUM CARYA is here now for that third party. I don't know if they realize the Rejects team is still here, but surely so. If there's a team still stuck here at the bridge, it's probably because there's something else impeding them. And they got to be careful as one of the players goes down for REGNUM CARYA. Royals of War will find the opening. And keep in mind, Vampires is still... No, actually, Vampires has decided to rotate in. But IHC from the northwest could come in now and third party this instead.
So many teams that could end up third party, fourth party in this. Keep it going. That's what they want to see, as long as you're not able to end up losing any of your teammates. There you go. Coldgold's going to be able to confirm that elimination for Royals of War. And meanwhile, REGNUM CARYA now find themselves in a particular spot here. They don't know, as you were mentioning, they don't know that Rejects is close by. Rejects could start pushing up a little bit more or try to get some off angles, or even if they wanted to, they could back off. They could go to the other side. As you can see, Reggie now trying to get an off angle. He needs to be careful. I'm not sure if Vampire Esports is still within that vicinity. I don't think they are, luckily for him. But if this ends up working out for them, this could be a massive, massive play for Reject.
Yeah, meanwhile, IHC did rotate in, and it looks like they are ignoring this area completely. They're going to be more focused on their rotation. So this will be a isolated three-way fight, as some shots coming off in the off angle. So no knock there. Reject's hand is kind of forced to be shown there with that off angle, and they might disengage this or just wait for some more knocks to happen between the two different teams.
And I think the way that Reject is currently positioning themselves, they're trying to see if they can score points from both of these squads, not only just from Royals of War, but possibly be able to steal some points as well from REGNUM CARYA. And here we go, a bit of a push there. Royals of War is going to get one of the players knocked. Tonka is going to get knocked. Coldgold's still going to be within this building, as he has two players from REGNUM CARYA starting to push him. And meanwhile, I think the player from Reject that was trying to get that off angle did end up getting spotted, and he ended up getting some shots onto him, which made him back up. But REGNUM CARYA now being able to take over this building right here, as Reject starting to make a push, but it's looking like a tough push. One of the players is going down right there, Sute.
Yeah, REGNUM CARYA doing a great job handling both teams right now. Reject's really trying to capitalize on that third party, but the different angle from their player in the backline, I think, actually did come into play. Rejects will be able to get the reset back up to 4. You can see on that mini-map, Rejects have a player on the left and right side of the river. One of their positions is already known. The player on the west has given it up, but it looks like the player on the east also firing off shots now. So now all the positions of the Rejects player is known to REGNUM CARYA. REGNUM CARYA do have to play this very carefully, as he does get exposed. Maybe Regioso sneaking up here with the UMP was the play. And there we go. REGNUM CARYA now down to 2.
And that's the thing that we were talking about. I don't think REGNUM CARYA knew that there was going to be two teams just being passive. Here we go. The push from Reject. Raul is going to end up getting knocked. Is he going to be able to confirm that elimination? He's not going to be able to, but now he's going to have to back up. And there it is for REGNUM CARYA. beautiful, beautiful plays by Reggie OC as he continue on with the off angle. But now they need to be careful because there's still one more player of Royals of War alive.
Yeah, that looked like a little bit too premature of a celebration. I don't know if they know that Royals of War is still alive there. Elsewhere on the map, teams are getting it underway. The new zone did come up. It shifted back up north, so Corey is dead center. You can see S2G just north of the center zone fighting with Zebra Masters. Razy with that nade in hand, trying to hold back the push. S2G do have a little split defense with one player up on that hill. Hopefully Razy can handle his own right now.
Hopefully they will be able to handle that because the shotguns are going to be coming now to play. You can see Zebra Masters now going for the push. I don't think he was able to spot it. We're not going to be able to see anything as we also get flashbang. And there's going to be just madness going on within this building. Zebra Masters decide to back up a little bit more. You were talking about that player from SCG up in the mountain being able to get that off angle. But Racy does end up getting knocked. Demeanor being able to get that angle on Racy. And now it's looking advantageous here for Zebra Masters. As they're just looking to just corral Kasi. Look, every single angle that Kasi might want to exit from is going to be covered here from Zebra Masters.
Yeah, S2G not looking good here at all. Two players up on the hill really need to make an opening. Actually, it's going to be Kelsey to find that opening and the finish. Now he really needs the support of his teammates on the outside. Kelsey, what's he going to do? Is he going to back off? Or is he going to try and hold this down on his own with the DPS? That's one, that's two. He just needs one more to get the whole 1v4. But Kelsey does go down. Where's the support from his teammates? Not in time. Kelsey does get thirsted. Now we do have Zebra Masters in the 1v2 situation.
And by Kelsey being able to clutch up those two knocks right there, it's going to allow Hamsi to push up. And not only that, CO is going to be able to push up as well. It's not looking good here for Zebra Masters. And they're going to end up getting eliminated. Something that looks so good for Zebra Masters on their push. Kelsey just absolutely stop it, and it gives some more life to S2G, even though it's only going to end up being two players. And just to keep everybody up to date with what's going on in the earlier fights, Reject did end up finding that last player from Royals of War. Royals of War does end up getting eliminated. We don't know what happened between Nova Esports, but I believe Nova Esports might have ended up losing that one player at some point here, Tute.
Yeah, they got caught against IHC because they took that fight with D+ for so long. Nova got caught in their rotation trying to enter the circle. IHC swooped in from their side. And with this new circle shift, it looks like teams are going to be doing some more rotating. IHC deciding to navigate back west and probably over the top with this new zone as the circle is kind of shifting north. So they're going to look to wrap back up. Nova did lose stream. Nova down to 3 now and still caught in this gridlock against the D+.
And right now, D+ is looking for those last players there from Nova Esports. I'm pretty sure they saw on the elimination feed one player getting eliminated, as you were mentioning there earlier. And this split is just not looking good for Nova. Nova was able to start off hot yesterday with a second place finish, 8 eliminations. But ever since then, up until the last match, we didn't really see much of them. We didn't really see the Nova that we're used to seeing, and I'm hoping we'll be able to see it here at some point. But some team that is trying to make a stop to that, some team that is trying to stop them from being able to do anything here. IC going to be making that push. I don't think they knew that D+ was going to be here as IC just fully sensed it. They're going to get one of the players knocked. Are they going to be able to recover from this? I don't think they're going to be able to. They're going to end up losing that player, and now they got IC and K's from D+ Kia in the same building.
Wow, IHC, definitely a little bit of a mishap right there. They assumed D+, the other team in Python would have left and taken the hilltop, but they haven't. They are still here. And now IHC, well, we've said it multiple times yesterday, even as a 3-man or a 2-man, this team could put up an ungodly amount of elimination points. And speaking about ungodly, we do have Godless still up for the team. Let's see if IHC can pull off that magic that did yesterday with just their 2 members.
It would definitely be a tough one, and D+ Kia needs to be careful too because that player is still alive from Nova Esports. That's what I was worried about right there. Long skirt being able to spot one player from D+ Kia. He's going to get the knock. He's not going to be able to get the finish, but if there was ever an opening there for the last 2 players of IHC, this would be, and I'm so glad you mentioned that as well because we saw this team so many times not having their full roster, but they were still able to clutch up plays. They were still able to make sure they secure those extra points, and that's why they're currently in second place. But now at this point, you need to be careful. You're going to possibly end up getting third party, as we saw some of the Vampire Esports players there towards the north of them.
Wow, look at this zone shift. Falcons in a great position. And I think, you know, usually when they're dead center, surrounded by so many teams, on an area where it can be breached from so many angles, D+ catches another player, and it's actually, oh, that's not IHC, that's actually Vampire getting caught out. Let's see if the Falcons can hold everything from up top. D+, Porrico popping off here, gets one, gets two, does not get the third one, almost does. His allies trying to support him from inside pawn on, but not in time. Vampire will lose one player, and they should be able to get that reset onto Newsy potentially.
And the team that's going to be looking to see if they can somehow end up third partying this was Team Falcons. You can see Team Falcons, they're jumping around, trying to look for angles, but it backfired a little bit as top did end up getting knocked. I'm sure they'll be able to hopefully pick him up. If not, they will be down another player. Longster now trying to make that switch towards his other teammates so they are not so split. Vampire Esports got caught off guard there by D+ Kia, and it comes down to that rotation. They weren't really able to scout anything. I think they still thought that people were going to be fighting in Painan. They were not expecting one player to just be in that sniper tower laying down, waiting to see who was going to pass by, who was going to be the unlucky player to get surprised by him. We're going to be going now to Death Wolves and High-5s. Death Wolves and High-5s. These two teams definitely need the points. And here comes the push. They're going to keep on driving. Are they going to be disengaging from this one? That's a little bit sketchy. They're going to be having to use those trees to their advantage and hope that High-5s is not able to hit any shots. And they get away with it
There's
today.
no way. He even crashed into the tree and you saw a player jump out the car. I know that feeling. Been there, done that. And they actually do get away. And they get a decent position in the zone. Wow, what a rotation. And IHC finally get it taken out, and Reject, keeping true to their confidence-boosting ritual from yesterday. They're shooting every loot box after every team wipe, and it is working out for them. Reject with 7 elim points, plus 4 members up, and they're in a good spot in the zone. This Reject team has been doing better and better match by match.
I'm loving the attitude that Reject is showing right now. You were able to call that out yesterday, how they were shooting those boxes maybe to keep that momentum going, keep the energy up. But you know what? Let's switch up here to High-5s and Boom Esports. Boom Esports being surprised a little bit there by the player from High-5s. Monkey is going to be able to hit those shots. He's going to be able to turn that into elimination point. But they are going to be pretty much just switching out as High-5s does end up getting eliminated there. Only one player still alive from High-5s. Nova Esports now starting to make the push. Paraboy in order. You wouldn't want to ask for a better duo, but the thing is, they're going to be going up against 4 players of Death Wolves, and on top of that, they need to watch out their back. As you can see, Longskirt is still fighting D+. He has so much action going on here. Is Order going to be able to find the opening? Order is going to get caught off guard there. There's just too many players from Death Wolves.
Too many players from Dead Wolves, and Dead Wolves do have some enemies behind them. I was just going to say, Rada Boy does get a third party from the back, but he confirmed Order, which is huge for them. Order definitely a player you do not want to face against in that close range situation. Paraboy trying to angle downwards so his teammate Longskirt can support, but Longskirt crossing in the open gets caught by Vampire. There's just too many angles, too many teams, all left alive. And Paraboy's going to actually run back and try and go for that revive while Dead Wolves is focused elsewhere.
And for Nova Esports, I think it was the split that kind of forced them to stay in those 2 buildings for a little bit too long. It allowed some of the other teams to rotate towards the top of that mountain and gatekeep them. And that's exactly what's happening here with Death Wolves. Death Wolves is going to be able to spot him again, and he's going to be able to spot Paraboy. Can hit those shots. He is going to be able to knock him. There's still one more player alive there for Nova Esports. Nova Esports not starting the day like they wanted to. Meanwhile, Death Wolves with now 3 players, seeing if they can spoil the start of the day here for Nova Esports even more by eliminating them. But they need to focus on themselves as well. They might not want to overextend on this. As you were mentioning, there's just so many teams here, and that Molotov is going to force Longster to back off that. Are they going to be able to find that angle? They are going to be able to. Death Wolves with the elimination of Nova Esports there so far. Absolute madness. Now we switch over to Nextria and S2G.
Yeah, this is on the east side of the zone. Falcons was holding this within a 3-1 split, so they lost one player to S2G, who just crashed straight in with the vehicles. S2G now trying to mount the defense against 4 enemy players of Nextria. Nextria looking good, frozen up close with that DPS. Same with Hamzi, though. We saw how deadly S2G can be with that DPS. Can they replicate what Kelsey did? No, they cannot. Frozen will find the opening. S2G just down to the 1.
S2G, see you later, throwing some Molotovs, trying to stop this team from pushing up. And this team with Nextria, they need to be careful because Falcons is going to be on the horizon as well. I think Falcons is going to be their biggest worry. Could end up being Alpha 7. As Alpha 7 is going to get a little bit closer. Here comes the push. CO later is going to be able to get 1 knock. He's going to get 2 knocks. Nextria is not looking good for them. They're just pushing 1 by 1 and it's backfiring as Nextria is able to finally eliminate that final player from S2G and only end up losing 1 player. The only worry, as I was talking about, it was Alpha 7. Alpha 7 should be able to gatekeep them here with the positioning that they have.
Yeah, with Falcons focused on Vampire, I think Alpha 7 could get free reign over Nextria. Falcons, one of their players do drop. I think that was to actually Rejects from distance. And Rejects still putting in a lot of pressure from the downhill side right there. Can they make it up? We're down to only a handful of players, but multiple teams still vying for that top mountaintop, and Falcons forced to fall back as they are facing too much pressure from too many different teams.
The Falcons trying to hold too much land right there within that spot. You saw Rejects. I mean, Rejects is still going in hot from yesterday. We were doubting why they would want to hot drop. Well, the momentum, that's why they want to keep that going. And guess what? Top is going to get eliminated by Vampire Esports. Vampire Esports making that push. Alpha 7 as well, stopping Death Wolves from pushing on them. But Alpha 7 needs to be careful because they do have 2 teams nearby. And one of their players is currently knocked as Kane from Nextria is going to be making the push up. He's going to get him knocked as well. But now, Alpha 7, CARYA barely alive. Can Mafioso hit those shots? Mafioso is able to hit those shots.
Huge clutch up right there by the Alpha 7 players. They finish out Nextria, they're down to 2, but more importantly, they have good control of the hillside and they catch the other player. Alpha 7 on fire right now with only 2 players. Yesterday they got really good zones, they got huge chickens, but now we see even if they have to fight their way into the zone, they could do the same. We're down to 4 teams. We have Falcons, Vampires, Alpha 7, and the Reject team. Rejects, probably the next team on the chopping block as they are the furthest away from the zone and they have to go uphill. But I think they could go in from the north side because the Falcons are too worried about every other angle to really gatekeep them.
Yeah, and I don't think Vampire Esports is going to be able to spot him if they continue to snake as well. I love the little jump that Mafioso was able to do there. Usually we grind upon whenever players do end up jumping on top of a rock. But you know what? That rock was small enough that the other player wasn't going to be able to see him from Dead Wolves. It works out well for them. They are able to take care of Dead Wolves, and now they can focus a little bit more towards the other teams, towards Falcons. And the only problem that I'm seeing here today is that I don't think they are aware that Vampire Esports Schweppes is getting closer and closer to them, and you were calling them out. You were saying Rejects could still be able to make it within this circle, and right now they're doing exactly what they need to do. Just start inching up little by little. Take advantage of Falcons being distracted by Vampire and Alpha 7 because Reject could end up surprising some of the players there from Team Falcon.
Yeah, 7, I love endings like this on Sandhawk. It's the classic Hilltop Snake showdown where you have multiple teams from all around the 360 degrees of the circle coming in at the top, and of course you do have the Falcons players at the tippy top. They definitely have their work cut out for them. And Circle 9, here we go. It's going to close dead center. Who's going to come out on top? Obviously Vampire does have the man advantage here, but in situations like these, everything could change in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, for Team Falcons, even though they're currently at the center, I feel like they wish they were in a different position because they're going to have 3 teams just looking at them. You can see the utility now starting to rain down, and I'm with you. I'm usually not a fan of snaking, but boy, in this kind of situations when you have 4 teams left, go for it. Pull a 6-list, lay down, and start hoping that nobody spots you. As Icy is still looking around, you can see Vampire Esports making a little bit of noise there by throwing that utility, seeing if they could possibly spot anybody. Everybody just crawling up, getting closer and closer here to Team Falcons. And at some point, somebody's got to give. Somebody's got to get knocked. Mafioso, here we go. Divine being able to spot somebody. Stone actually from Vampire Esports is going to be able to spot Icy from Team Falcons. He's going to get eliminated. And now it's just one player in there said. As Vampire Esports now going to get spotted by CARYA. He's going to get eliminated. CARYA being able to make up that switch. He's going to switch over to Reject. Are they going to be able to clutch this up? Oh my goodness, the switch there for CARYA, but the last player from Reject is able to spot him.
It's a 1v1. Divine versus Newsy. This is for the chicken dinner. Schweppes able to call out Divine's position, but doesn't matter. Divine knows his enemy's position. DBS in hand. It's the DBS 1v1 showdown. He confirms the point. Who's going to get this one? Right swing, left swing, shimmying back and forth, using what cover they can. And he catches him from the outside in the blue. Was not expecting that angle. And Vampire pops off there with that chicken. And you can see how much it meant to them. Vampire Esports coming in hot on the first match of the day with 9 eliminations.
Newsy, a player that we wanted to see more out of last year, and boy are we getting to see more out of him this year so far in the PMGO. Coming up huge, clutching it up there for the team. But for Rejects, honestly, that was a well-played game. We saw the fights that they were getting to from early in the match, and for them to continue on the momentum, as we were saying, from that chicken dinner that they got yesterday, that's exactly what you want to see there out of Reject.
What a match right there, and I guess it really did come down to that man advantage. Everyone was getting traded left and right, so with Vampires with the one extra player, he does get it done. Here's that final blow, kill cam, Divine up close with that DBS. And honestly, this is where Japan shines. Close range, DBS fight, the mechanics come into play, but I think Newsy kind of outsmarted him by going out into the blue zone. So taking that angle, that was definitely unexpected right there, played in the favor of Vampire Esports.
You gotta risk it, and that's exactly what he did. I'm glad you called that on. You know what, Maxman, if you are watching, I'm gonna need you to go and back and just review that whole play, because so much madness happening. We went from having 4 teams to a blink of an eye, we only had 2 teams left, and that was quite a surprise for me. I think right now they're trying to figure out who wants to do the interview, who wants to do it, and look at that. I think it's gonna end up being Tony K. Hot Jukes. What do you think of that ending right there? That was ridiculous.
What more could you ask for right there? Some good old Sandhawk Snakes going at it back and forth. It was anyone's game. It really was. It was all about just like, hey, which 2 players decide to fight first? CARYA stood up real early, got some nice eliminations, but with that comes some risk, right? I mean, you risk spotting yourself out, and that's what happened. I think all these teams should be pretty stoked with their performance in Game 1.
They should be. They should be. And for Team Falcons, honestly, they were having such a great position. If they wouldn't have lost those players earlier by getting a little bit too confident and trying to hold down much angle and trying to take on so many fights, I feel like that team should have been able to win. It was theirs to win with the position that they have, but they were just worrying about way too much stuff with everything going on there, Sute.
Yeah, I gotta say, it wasn't really shown on camera, but they were holding that 3-1 split. They had one person at the compounds right down the hill. That was too greedy of a hold, so S2G came straight in with their vehicle rotation with just 2 players. And the Falcons lost a player down to a 3-man, and on top of that hill with 3, they were not able to hold off the multitude of teams and angles. I just want to throw out there, though, if it was IHC, though, with 3 up on that hill, I mean, they might have taken everyone down, but Falcons not able to do it there.
Well, we'll have to wait and see if IHC can maybe start clutching it up with not just 2, with not just a duo. I want to see what they can do with 4.
Talk about this last map. First, I want to ask you, because you had a great game in the prelim stage, now you're having a great game here, and also I want to ask you because you're playing more aggressive now. Do you feel like you were hiding something during the prelim stage?
เขาบอกว่าทำไมเกมนี้เราแบบว่าเหมือนกับเล่นและ aggressive มากขึ้นเนี่ยเรายังมีอะไรซ่อนอยู่อีกไหมก็ยังเหลือยังไว้อีกเยอะครับรอดูได้เลยครับWe have something prepared for today and tomorrow, so let's see what we can do.
Perfect. And also, I want to ask you, how do you feel about the Brazilian crowd so far?
Sorry again?
How do you feel about the Brazilian crowd so far?
รู้สึกไงกับแฟนที่นี่ก็ทำให้พวกผมตื่นแบบว่าเหมือนบ้าขึ้นกว่าเดิมครับเพราะว่าเสียงดังผมจะได้ไม่หลับ So he say like it's make him more aggressive because the loud noise that him encouragement. Yeah.
That's really great. And last, I want to ask you the expectations not only for the next matches that we have today, we have 5 more matches, but also for tomorrow. The expectations for the next matches today, we still have 5 matches this day in our second day of 2024 Pmgo Brazil, and tomorrow, what are your expectations for tomorrow as well?
ก็คือคาดหวังไงบ้างในวันนี้แล้วก็วันพรุ่งนี้
วันนี้ก็พยายามที่หนึ่งให้ไม่ห่างแล้วก็วันสุดท้ายก็จะเอาแชมป์ครับ
So we try our best today because the point is not too far, and we will try to become the first place on the last day.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. Congratulations on your victory. Thank you so much. And we come back soon with more 2024 PMGO Brazil. See you soon.
Sertani and Tony K looking happy for a bit there, Sute. We thought that team wasn't going to be able to do much. I think it was D plus Kia that ended up surprising them at one point, but they were able to come back from it, and they were able to come back strong and get that chicken dinner.
Yeah, great rotation out of Vampire too, going across the bridge, up on the north side, and then just right into that side of the mountain. And they did lose one player to D+, like you mentioned, but with 3, it was enough, because everyone in the War of Attrition piling up that hill had less than 3, and that was the magic number they needed.
Talking about magic numbers, we got a chance to see their Hydrix that pushed by IHC getting a little bit too much. We did end up with just a duo for IHC, but so far, first match, it's not the same as yesterday. IHC cannot clutch it up with just a duo. Hopefully Hydrix will be able to see more of actual 4 players alive from IHC and not just a duo.
I mean, we need to. I mean, you said it's not the same as yesterday for IHC, but guess what? It's the same as yesterday when it comes to Vampire, because they are undefeated in Sandhawk, right? 2 chicken dinners already to start the day. I mean, what more could you ask for, especially 19 points? These guys, all they gotta do is just show up in the rest of the maps, and we can see some shakeups in the leaderboard for sure.
Yeah, just to remind everybody, and I think I know what you're thinking about, and I was thinking about it too. I was like, wait, is this their second chicken dinner? No, this is actually their first chicken dinner.
Oh, that's right.
Yesterday,
yeah.
It was Alpha 7. We're thinking about prelims when they ended up starting to get all those wins in Sandhawk. But hey, they'll be happy. They're gonna be like, you know what? We'll mimic what we did in prelims here on the main event. We'll start showing up on day 2, and if for some reason, I mean, Vampire Esports can actually mimic that, that'd be amazing considering how their day 2 during prelims was. But it's a lot harder here. You can see IHC in second place was only able to get just 1 point. By the way, second place, when we're talking about the overall, they only got 1 point here in this last match. As we go over to Stone Sute, 3 eliminations, 685 damage.
Yeah, Stone, such a veteran player. I remember back in the days when I was competing when he was under the team of Mega. So this guy has been around the block. He's got that experience under his belt, and he's only been getting better and better. And of course, winning all that moolah with Vampire Esports in the past couple of years. I mean, that is just some more motivation for them to continue that upward trend. And Vampire, with that huge win, it does put them in contention for that first place, where the $100,000 does wait for the victor.
I might need to talk to Stone's tattoo artist, because that tattoo on his arm just looks so sick, man. Absolutely awesome looking. But you know what? I was teasing the overall standings, and guess who's no longer in second place after that match? Alpha 7 still in first place, being able to expand on their lead now between that second place. Reject jumping all the way up 3 places to second place, and on top of that, Vampire Esports jumping up 4 places as well to that 3rd place, Hajus.
I mean, that's what I was trying to say, is, you know, like when we saw Vampire, right, get that chicken dinner in Sandhawk during the prelims, they just started a tear, you know? So I think that all these teams that did their research, when they saw that, hey, Vampire wanted chicken dinner, especially with a sick 1v1 at the end, you know these guys are going to start heating up. So even though, like, Alpha 7, 3 chicken dinners yesterday, I think there's definitely a lot of pressure on their backs. So they can't let off the gas. They have to continue to get some serious points on the board and create a gap so big that nobody can even think about passing it up.
And luckily for Alpha 7, I feel like we got a bit of a of a question to answer for us too today. We're kind of talking about it during the cast too. We were saying how this team needed to start showing us more, not only just on their chicken dinners, but also how they would be able to do when they didn't get the chicken dinners. Well, guess what? In this one, they didn't get a chicken dinner. They got very, very close. But now we're starting to see a little bit some more elimination points and definitely more placement points when they don't get a chicken dinner.
I actually feel like this works in favor of Alpha 7 of not getting the chicken dinner by being delivered the zones, right? Yesterday on Sandhawk, they pretty much had free reign on top of the hill where the zone ended up just a little bit north of that, and it's such an easy win for them. I think today, with the day starting off as more of a challenge for Alpha 7, it gets them ready to fight for the zones, to fight their way in, and it is just looking really great for Alpha 7 because that was our big worry, right? Yesterday's points from them came from the 3 chicken dinners. The placement points and the elim points came from those zones that really just gifted it to them. So now, not gifted the zone, and they're already starting off hot. I think Alpha 7's going to maintain their lead today.
Yeah, I know the players personally. I know how they end up working in regards to their mental state. If they don't end up performing well, they're going to be going in with the wrong thoughts tomorrow on the final day, and that's usually what ends up butting them in the butt. So for them to be able to start the day off like that is great. But I want to continue to see that, right? I want to, especially going to Erangel, if we go back to the Erangel that they did end up winning, it was the exact same. I feel like one of the zones was gifted to them the whole time, and they were just picking and fighting who they wanted to fight with. I kind of want to see what they do if they don't continue to get the zone, Jukes, if they actually have to fight a little bit more.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, they can definitely do it, especially since they were a team that loved to play edge for so long. You know, that was their whole play style, right? So it's not something they're unfamiliar with. But I think now, you know, we see them playing that more central kind of play style. And they got 3 chicken dinners yesterday. So I hope that, you know, their coach talked to them, said, hey, yeah, I know that we have had that edge play before, but center zone works for us. Let's try to move there a little bit earlier. And if we don't get the zone, heck, if any team can push into it, it's them.
Yeah, I mean, they can frag out. Anybody can frag out. Yeah. We saw what CARYA can do. We know what McGrillen's able to do as well. Mafioso, Rebel. So that's the good thing, right? With this team, this is why a lot of the other teams tend to find Alpha 7 so scary. Going back to Reject, I kind of want to give more of their flowers too, because not only were they able to take the fight to REGNUM CARYA, the way Reggie, or I don't remember the player's name from Reject, but the way he was able to get that off angle, Royal Sawar was able to spot him, but he still committed to it. He kept going, and ultimately it ended up helping them on getting that win over REGNUM CARYA.
Yeah, Rejects, really, I do want to applaud them. Every single year, they have been just getting noticeably better. The first time they made it to the global stage, I believe they didn't even make it out of the group stages, right? They couldn't even get into the finals. And then the year after that, I think it was like they got into the finals, but they finished definitely second page of the leaderboards. And now we see them in second place. This is the best they have ever done, and I think it's that confidence. And just something to throw out there, like, you know, a little tidbit. When I used to play a little bit of the comps in Japan, I remember their leagues were really strict. Like, there was no BM or toxicity. You actually maybe get a fine, especially since they have their own league. They have an established rule set. So it's actually quite interesting to see, you know, where you could get fined for shooting a box and showing disrespect. Now on the global stage, Japan's like, they're letting it all out. They're not pulling any stops. You die to us, we are shooting your box, and we're continuing that aggression and building that confidence, and it is working out great for Rejects.
At global events, I'm pretty sure they're like, I wish we could stare at those admins from Japan, because look what we're doing now, Juice. Look what we're doing now.
Just letting all that hatred that's been built up over time, right? Now maybe it's like a purge scenario here in PMGO. And you know what? That's the overall energy of this event. It's crazy there. I mean, you heard Sertanian during the interview. He could hardly even hear the questions because there was so much noise going on over there. So the hype is at an all-time high. I love it for sure. And I'll tell you what, in order to be a team that just like loves hot dropping and to have success, any success doing it, you have to be fearless, right? You have to have that just like, you know what, we're going to push everybody. If we go out in last place, we go out. And I think the fact that they started that and actually had some success is the reason why we see them just, that aggression just start and just nonstop from whenever, you know, the time needs it.
Yeah, I mean, if they can continue to hot drop there tomorrow when we go to Stand Hockey again, if Royals of War for some reason decides to land on them again, and it's going to be 4 easy points for a reject, I'm sure they're going to keep on taking those points. I'm sure they're going to continue to do it. Teams that definitely need the points, though, Royals of War. Do we expect them tomorrow to hot drop them again?
I don't think so. They're too low down on leaderboards at this point. They don't have it like the way Rejects does, especially when it comes to like hot drop success. So yeah, I think you just gotta let them go.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Royals of War, if you're for some reason doing the VOD review and you're listening to this part of our segment, don't hot drop them. Okay, just try to do something completely different. We know how that ends up going for you guys now. That's 2 times in a row. Just stop it. Just stop it, okay?
They speak Spanish, so I'll help them out. No.
Hey. I thought we were gonna get one of your famous translations. I was like, I was getting ready for it. I was like, let's go, baby. Let's do this. But shout out to Realme 12 Pro Plus. Elevates your photography experience with 120 times super zoom and performance in games.
How to be a portrait master.
Bounce in the streets, I'm a boss till I call. Bounce in the beast, I'm a boss till I fall. I'm a boss on the beat, I'm a boss fit it raw. I'm a boss, keep it G, and I walk in the talk. I'm a boss.
Welcome back to the PMGO Brazil 2024 day 2 of the main event. Boy, we started off hot there in Sandhawk. We started off hot with Vampire Esports getting that chicken in there, and we saw what they were able to do too on the overall leaderboard. I wonder if they're gonna want to keep on climbing it up, even though it's not a PMWI, even though it's not an invitational. I'm sure Hot Jukes Vampire is looking to make it a little bit different here this year. They're looking to send a statement, not just a PMWI.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they want to start off... I mean, well, they didn't start off as strong as they wanted, that's for sure, right? But with this chicken dinner here, it's rocket launched them up the leaderboards. The big thing, though, is the prize pool, right? A huge difference between first and second. They got to get it done.
I think they might be able to get it done, boys. I think they might be able to get it done and end up with the top 3. We'll have to wait and see, though. It was just one match. Take it away, though, as we do get started here in Erangel.
Let's get it going here. Match number 2, the first Erangel of the day. I'm Hot Jukes here with Zute. Bro, are you ready for some Erangel action?
Oh, I am ready for all the action that's going to happen today. I mean, when I woke up this morning, the first thing on my mind was like, whew, wonder what we're going to see today in the PUBG Mobile Global Open. Because the action yesterday was just some of the best I've ever seen. And today, with the way that Sandhawk played out, with Rejects rising up, with Vampires rising up, with Alpha 7 still maintaining their foothold as like the top team in the lobby, it can only go up from here.
You are completely right. It's only going to get more crazy here as time goes on. Vampire dropping out early. They're going to be looting that... or split looting that Stalber area up north, so they'll have a good spot in there. Let's see where this first circle goes, right? Are we going to get a crazy military circle? Nope. Good old tried and true. But it looks like we do have some things starting to heat up over here in Yasnaya. This is HFIYS versus S2G. We saw this drop before.
Yeah, yesterday it was a really far distance plane path, so when they did both drop here, they both ended up a little more split. But the plane flying right overhead, I think HFIYS got to do what they really want to do, which is drop right on top of S2G and take the fight straight to them. S2G really struggling here. One of the players already down and another down to 1 HP. Definitely probably doesn't have any first aids either, as they only just started looting.
Yeah, both these teams struggling big time on the leaderboards. S2G all the way down in 10th place. We got HFIYS down in 14th place. You can see S2G's got that DBS. It's the first knock. Looking to get another. Trying to play it as safe as possible. 3 people right now in this hallway from S2G. Using all the util they got. Gonna get that nice thirst onto Snowix. That's huge. And now S2G, yeah, slowly picking apart HFIYS bit by bit. Ooh, second knock's big.
Oh, into the back. HFIYS definitely getting cut down here. They had the man advantage, but they ran into the shotgun. I think close range or off a hot drop. Hold up that. He's jumping back and forth, and there we go. Finally gets it done. SCG only loses 1 player, and in a hot drop scenario, I think the thing you want the most, it's not armor, it's not meds, it's not even util. I think it's the DBS. I think. True. Yeah, if you hot drop and you land and find the DBS, you tell your teams, like, I got the DBS. And Frozen, looks like he's going to be unfrozen as he is being burnt alive right now. Next to one of their players getting caught.
He's melting. Poor Frozen. But yeah, you know what? You know what the crazy part about that hot drop is? It's so unnecessary. You know, Yasnaya is so big. Such a big place to loot. I mean, you can literally land on either side of the street, loot up, and then just go their own separate ways. But nah, they just started landing in the same apartment buildings. S2G take them out. I think that, you know, especially where HFIYS are out of the leaderboards, they're going to have to mix things up completely.
Yeah, I think from the way it looked like it was definitely HFIYS initiating the hot drop, since all 4 landed in the same building, and S2G had to kind of regroup, which is why they lost that player early. But S2G definitely rebounded right there and won the fight instead, only losing 1 for 4 points. So, like, hot drops, yeah, neither team, or not neither team, one team might not want to hot drop, but if you don't want a hot drop, it doesn't change the fact that you're going to be in a hot drop if another team, like HFIYS, is still going to drop on you. So good job from S2G to recover that, though.
Yeah, I mean, you got to just deal with the, you know, you got to be able to adapt. And in that situation, S2G, even if they didn't want to, They had to be able to make something happen, and they did a great job. I mean, to be able to get 4 eliminations and
It was a 3v4.
Yeah, 3v4 was huge. You know, they only lost 1 player, but they're gonna definitely need a big game here because S2G has 36 total points. And remember, I mean, top 3 is where the money's at. So they definitely need a good game here to finish off strong. That first knock was crucial, but a good bounce back from S2G.
Yeah, the DBSs or all the shotguns. You can see in that elimination feed as we're rushing this replay back. It was pretty much all shotguns right there up until the very end. So that's one team already out. HFIYS eliminated, sitting in 14th place. We have Smoke Gaming here doing a rotation, and this position right here is actually pretty much dead center of the zone. This circle, if it does keep centering up, it is going to allow for a lot of nice action, as you do see those dips right there. Call them the OP dips. So many teams play them. We've seen so many battles unfolding in this particular area, and it never disappoints.
Never does. And, you know, this is a really good place to hold, too, because, you know, no matter where the zone goes, you're going to have a pretty clear path out of there. Because in order to approach this building, you have to just straight up drive up and crash it. So that's why you see these players from Smoke Gaming just like looking around every single angle, just trying to avoid a crazy push. And Smoke Gaming, great team to be able to qualify here. This is their, you know, big shot to be able to compete against these big teams. And I think they're definitely learning something. I mean, they only have 14 points so far, but, you know, they have pretty much everything to gain, you know, as a new team coming in. And regardless of where they end up with the leaderboards, they're going to have a great experience here.
Oh, yeah. The global stage is just something that you have to go through and get beat down once or twice before you can, you know, start to rise up and really, you know, get the hang of things, and a lot of learning curves to be had. Like, speaking of learning curves, look at Reject. This is, I think, maybe their 4th time at the global stage. Actually, maybe even more, you know, and finally, you know, it is starting to work out for them, but, you know, it's not over yet. We're only 2 games, well, not even 2, just only 1 game finished into day number 2. Any of these teams could still realistically shoot up and take that top 3 position.
And you know what? It's so crazy. I love seeing teams that the more events they play at this level, the better and better they get. And Reject are doing a great job right now, sitting in 2nd place, 56 total points. The thing that it's on everyone's mind, though, is Alpha 7, right? I mean, 84 points on the board. That's a 28-point difference, folks. That's a big gap already. So Alpha 7 definitely not wanting to let up the gas, because not only is there a big gap in the leaderboards between 1st and 2nd, there's a huge gap in prize pool. $50,000 difference between 1st and 2nd place. So, you know, Alpha 7 doesn't want to give up even a dime of that, considering that they're in their hometown. But yeah, you know what? There's one big factor, Zute, and we've kind of mentioned this a little bit before. We haven't mentioned it yet. Is, you know, when you are such a top team that has dominated for so long, there becomes that presence that you have, right? If you're a team like Alpha 7, if you're a Vampire, you know, Nova, whenever you have such success in tournaments, all of a sudden, anytime you push that team and you realize it's them, sometimes you'll have players hesitate. And they'll be like, you know, it's Alpha 7, or, oh, it's this. And that little hesitation, man, those teams take advantage of it and take you out so quickly. And I think Reject, especially a team that just hot drops constantly, have proven that they've kind of gotten over that, you know? Those nerves start to leave. And I think they're a lot more comfortable here in the PMGO.
Yeah, I do remember watching them before. If they got into a hot drop, if they don't find the opening within the first minute, you usually see them to, you know, back off. And especially when a third party comes in, they always almost back off. And that's for a lot of teams, not just Rejects at this stage. But Rejects instead, they have that confidence. They see a third party coming in, they're just like, more points for us to make right here. Yeah, and they just go head into 2 different teams, but they play it smart. So Rejects definitely showing a lot of experience, and they decided, you know, how they want to take certain situations, and they're going to take it straight on. New zone is shipped out. We are pulling back west right onto Potato Hill. Potato Hill is now the new center of zone, so we won't see that nice area around shelter with all those different divots come into play. But this area of the map could still make for some pretty entertaining situations.
Oh yeah, we could even maybe get a school finish. That'd be pretty fun to watch, no? We haven't seen one of those in a hot minute. Oh yeah, so let's see where these teams are gonna decide to go. Right now, outside of the circle, Royals of War are gonna be coming in through the Pachinki side there on the southwestern area. S2G are still up in Yasnaya, so they're gonna be barely creeping up on the edge. But Team Falcons, look at that, hanging around in a shack, very, very close to Boom. Let's see who's gonna be able to get that nade off. Oh, and yeah, that's the hard part about a shack is if you're in there, there's only one place you're gonna go. I'm surprised they're even getting off of this now.
Yeah, I think with too many teams rotating by, look at the minimap, multitudes of colors coming in here as Boom will come back and finish off the other two Falcons player. Man, Falcons really struggling out here. They're just down to that solo player at the shack. And look, it's Rejects coming in here. They want some of the action. Definitely a team that's not scared to take on any type of fights. And they actually knock one player from Boom. Poppet goes down. Sara still close range here. And they gotta be a little bit wary here, because this is like center zone. So you have a lot of teams moving in and out here, looking to see if they get third party, looking to see what positions are open. And I think teams are starting to finally settle down and disengage now.
And that is going to be it for Team Falcons right there. That nade just doing them in. Not having a lot of success here at the start of the day. And yeah, you can just see Top. We saw him just kind of like, just put his hands over his head and just say, ugh, that's a tough one right there.
Yeah, getting some nice shots through the tree leaves right there. Boom has readjusted to a different position. Really good job out of Boom. That was a really sticky situation. You saw how many teams are moving in and out, and with those sight lines, they can get third party from distance very easily. So Boom finds a nice secondary position right here at this little divot. Nade comes in, does some damage, but it's fine. Flyboy driving in circles here, just trying to get as much info as possible. They don't want to stay too still right there, or else, yeah, those nades might just come in. And I think they spotted a new location to go to, as the new circle came up. Actually, it goes up north, so that is why they're going to rotate right here.
Yeah, they're going to rotate this blue here. It's not a terrible location. It's kind of difficult to leave from because it's really weak from apartment side. So they can definitely get pinched. We'll just see how that ends up playing out. They're already down to 3, so we'll see where that finishes. Meanwhile, Nova starting to get into it. That's going to be against next REGNUM, so they get a couple, at least one elimination under their belts. And they're going to be holding this beautiful, beautiful little hill ridge right here below school. I know this is a spot you really like, Zoo.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say, anytime this type of zone happens, this is my preferred position right here. You are in the open, but you have this nice ridge line. Not just one, you got 2 different ridge lines to work with. So you can take a lot of shots everywhere. You still have school as a backup, and you can monitor school too. You can see which school apartment building is unoccupied, because if the zone keeps closing in on school, you don't want to be, the first team in there and stuck in there. And you also have a way of leaving this position too. So Nova, this is a team that I see, frequent this spot quite a lot.
Yeah, it's a really good location. Like I said, even if the zone shifts, you have a great way to be able to get out of there. A lot of coverage with that tree line. The only place it's weak from is right in the opposite direction of Dream, that little shack right behind it. If a team rolls up there, it's going to be an all-out war. But Nova is not scared of a fight, that's for sure. So you can see teams trying to find their little stay location in Zone 3. But, Smoke getting run over by Death Wolves. Man, that's not gonna feel too good.
Yeah, Death Wolves out here getting more points. Death Wolves really turned it up today too, so far with their performance. Sandhawk did pretty decent for them, so it looks like they're going to keep that aggression up. Smoke Gaming just caught out on the east side, trying to make their way in. Smoke Gaming down to 3, looking to do whatever they can to just get any type of position or any type of points, really, before they get eliminated out of here. Majority of the teams are all in the zone besides Smoke Gaming. Rejects are on the far south, and yeah, it's just Smoke that still hasn't made a way into the zone.
Yeah, I mean, they have a really big task ahead of them. I mean, this is their first time competing at this level. They are one of the qualifying teams. I mean, not a lot was expected from them. I mean, they did do great during the prelims, but this is a whole nother monster here. So, there's an old saying, right? Sometimes you got to pay to learn. And they're definitely learning a big lesson here. And I'll tell you what, I mean, we've seen plenty of times a team goes to a global event like this, and then when they come home to their region, they're like the best by far, you know? And we just see them just level up little by little. Well, they're going to have to level up right now, because now look who's got their eyes set on them. It's none other than Alpha 7.
Alpha 7 is here for the points, here for the fight. New circle pops up, though. Could Alpha 7 disengage here? I think Alpha 7 already knows what they want to do with this new zone, so they're going to take their time, maybe pick up a couple points, but the circle pulls down south. School could still be a potential ending, but see, this is the exact situation you don't want to find yourself in. You lock yourself in school, and the zone shifts away. Nova, meanwhile, still has all their options open. D+, still at that little compound, find themselves a nice new kind of central location on this new circle shift.
Yeah, I can see why IHC took school, because schools, if the zone goes there and you are the team holding it, it's like you win the game, pretty much. You know, but if it doesn't, yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting to see how IHC takes this on. They still have their whole squad. They're going to probably have to try to sneak through apartments, because at this point, everything has been taken. And usually a lot of teams in a zone shift like this will try to go and wrap and try to hit the hardship side. The problem is that the hardship side is Potato Hill, so you know that's already taken. It's going to be interesting to see how Alpha 7 tries to creep into this next zone.
Potato Hill is being taken already by the Reject team, and Royals of War could potentially find themselves in a fight right here. Both teams are on the edge of zone, so they might just share this, not exactly have to fight over that top position just yet. Rejects monitoring their west side, and they have Regioso on the east, just maintaining info. And Alpha 7, yeah, they haven't stopped looking for fights, chasing them down, driving over. That first drive-by was a distraction, but however, the other players of Death Wolves will find one. CARYA surely about to go down. He ran out of ammo. CARYA surviving at 1 HP. Look at that, he doesn't even heal. CARYA just has the mindset of a fragger. 1 HP? No, I'm not healing. I'm going to pull out my weapon and shoot right back, and that's a huge opening for the side of Alpha 7.
CARYA just looked him in the face and said, "How dare you try to reload in front of me?" Oh, if he only had one more bullet, he would have gotten that knock. Here comes Rebel, though, looking to try to get a run over. And meanwhile, I mean, this is how you do it, right? If you don't have a straight, place to be able to go on a rotation, just, hey, drive up, shoot at everything in sight, and do it the hard way.
Yeah, Alpha 7, they're getting it done. CARYA does go down with a couple smokes. I was going to say maybe they can go back for the revive, but Regioso, I love this play out of the Reject team. Regioso is so far away from his team, but they realize the opportunity that they have and just branching out and looking for these long distance third parties, and Regioso picks up a crucial point for the team, padding their point even more right now. But the 1v1 still going on between Death Wolves and Alpha 7.
Oh man, I mean, it's just crazy how some of these micro plays are so huge. I mean, we saw that player from Alpha 7 try to get the knock onto Guiza with that nade, but he just wasn't able to find the range of it. And then he ends up getting knocked to return, and just like that, things are not looking too good for Alpha 7. But they have a great lead, so they can afford, maybe a rough game or two, but we don't want to see them having to stress out on the final day. Meanwhile, IHC gonna have to do the same thing we saw Alpha 7 do, right? Just push in from the edge and make their way in as another southern shift happens.
Oh.
This zone is hard locked south, and here comes Rogue right there with a DBS getting it done.
IHC, they're playing at their best right now, and when I say that, I mean they're playing as a 3-man, because we haven't seen them in the late game just yet with 4, but it looks like 3 is all they need. Rejects, though, with newfound confidence, with newfound strength as a 4-man team, this might be too challenging for even the likes of IHC now.
I'll tell you what, out of all the teams I've seen so far, a on-fire Rejects could be extremely dangerous. That knock is going to be huge to help buy them some time, but they're not. I think they're getting shot from Nova down south as well. IHC, yeah, just trying to get in this next circle. Good on Nova to try to apply pressure here, because they know that all these teams are very, very much under pressure with the zone coming on in. Godless going
look
in.
at this.
Oh, almost gets trying to get that run over.
Oh.
Jumps out the D, tries to pull out that DBS, but Duello just too fast.
Yeah, Dwello really heads up right there. I like that push, honestly, by IHC, too. They know they're down to 3-man, and with so much pressure down south by Nova, that knock that they got earlier, that was their only potential chance of getting a good position in the zone. So he had to just go for it. It might have looked bad, right, pushing in by yourself, but it was a timing thing. He couldn't wait for his teammates. If he waited, it's back to the 3v4, so he took a risk. It didn't pay off, however, and Rejects will continue to hold the top position on Potato Hill with 4. Meanwhile, Nova close by, still with 4 players in a good spot, too.
I really like that split from Reject, having that 2 pushed up, 2 in the back, but they were in a perfect position. They were throwing smokes on the right side so they could just stand out in the open. And then, I mean, even if they were covering him perfectly. So even if IHC was, starting to apply pressure to those 2 teammates up there, they were going to get shot from behind so quickly. So a great job. Meanwhile, IHC is stuck in the blue zone, and they had to get out of there real quick because this blue zone is starting to chunk. IHC did sneak on in and trying to circumvent Nova, but Nova's pushing on up. Here we go. Who's going to win this one? Dream with the DBS trying to hold it down, but man, these Reject squad are starting to get heated. Actually, it's REGNUM CARYA. I saw RC, I thought it was Reject. Nope, it's REGNUM CARYA on the push.
Yeah, REGNUM CARYA catching Nova right here. Nova down to 1. Long skirt gets a revive on 1, and that's about it. Zone closing in at the same time. Paraboy went down earlier trying to hold the inner side of the zone, but IHC catches him by surprise. And just like that, Nova was a 4-man team in a great position, but I think they tried to do a little bit too much, and REGNUM CARYA just really hindered what they wanted to achieve here. Now Nova down to a 2-man, forced to go in to the zone, and we have the Zebra Masters here on the northeastern side still with 4, taking a fight with the likes of Vampire Esports.
Here they go. Zebra Masters have that high ground. If they're able to throw that util perfectly, Vampire's going to be in big trouble. Here comes Schweppes trying to push on up, apply some pressure with that M4, trying to buy some time for his teammates. And he's going to have to do it quickly because there's only 47 seconds left on the clock. Tony K trying to get this res off. Next zone does go on up, and oh my goodness, Reject are going to have to come down from Potato Hill.
Yeah, I think Rejects with 4 players, though, should have a decent chance at getting more points into this match. D+ sitting at the God Complex now. The zone really favoring them every circle so far. Vampire down to 2 with the close zone buy. They just have to snake in for the rest of the match. Zebra Masters with 4, though, can make a lot of noise and look for more and more points.
Yeah, it's Zebra Masters time to stand up and really just, not get passive at all. They got to get hyper-aggressive here with their position, especially considering that they're only in 15th place right now. I'm surprised they even let up off of Nova at all. I thought that they were going to be able to get that push and finish them off. But, you can see Order trying to just find a location dead center as Nobu from D+ Kia. I thought he had an angle there. Decides to give it up.
This is where D+ needs to get somewhat aggressive. One of their players gets knocked, another team might force them,
and I'm mainly just looking at Rejects, but with D+ that far down the leaderboards and with 4 players up, they need to look for some points now. If they just sit at this compound,
all the fighting is going to go 360 around though, and they have a great chance at third party a lot of things if they step out.
Let's see what ends up happening. REGNUM CARYA Bra going down there. Zebra Master, like I said, they had to start getting aggressive, trying to be able to get that spray down that just little grass line. Oh, he does see someone pop up. Does he get the knock? Tony K, I can't tell.
Jukes. It looks good. Yep, that's going to be enough. What happened?
Take a look at the elim numbers on the right-hand side from all of the teams. One number is not like the other numbers.
As soon as I looked over to the right, my literally jaw dropped. Are you kidding me? Reject with 11 eliminations and their entire squad up. Alpha 7, you better be careful because this Japanese team is coming in hot today.
And if they get the chicken, they could tie up or maybe,
no way.
It's a lot, but we'll see. Rejects with 4 players, 11, and running hot right now. Let's see what this team could do. The only team they have to really worry about is D+. It depends on the next zone, too. If the zone pulls up towards the south side, giving Rejects the circle, they could just sit pretty. And look at that. Even now, they're still finding knocks. They're still finding openings. This Rejects team is not the rejects of the past couple of years. This is a completely new and transformed team.
Oh my goodness. Not to mention that they do have that hill advantage as well. And the zone has already shifted south so many times. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it continue going that
Surely.
direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see what ends up happening is gonna try to have them do in the blue zone, and he does get that knock, but he's gonna run in. He does, hits that lay down real quick. He can't eat any more blue at all. And he's not gonna get the chance to as next Ruya shut him down.
Yeah, next Ria with a nice little game sense play right there, spraying through the grass. And catches the last player. He's going to be able to get that revive too. And look at this, the zone does pull towards rejects.
Wow.
Now, with a circle like this, I mean, this is only stage 6. We still have more circles to go. D+ is in a very vulnerable position now. D+ have to leave this compound, and even if they don't leave, rejects can fire in on this from all different types of angles, and it's going to be so hard for the team of D+ to push out of it, even if they get a knock onto rejects. Rejects needs to make sure, though, they don't get third party from their south or their eastern side.
Yeah, you're so right. I mean, a lot of people would think that, D+ Kia, they have the only cover. They're good. No, I mean, rejects are going to know exactly where they're at, and if Sara up there is able to throw smokes on their windows and doors, they can't see anything out, right?
Yeah.
And then rejects going to be free to push up for free. So, yeah, good eye right there. But that's going to be really the main team that reject just has to get through. Oh, and they're getting some help from the other side. Oh, D+ Kia, good luck with this one.
Yeah, look how many elims D+ Kia has right now. A big old donut. That is just not good. So you have 4 players here, but you may as well only have 2 because they're not able to utilize their numbers whatsoever. They're getting pressured in hard. Rejects, one of their players does fall down to the likes of Zebra Master, but Zebra Masters is more focused on D+ Kia's position. Hopefully Rejects can get that revive safely.
Yeah, I think Reject's totally fine with this. So, y'all battle it out. If you actually decide to go in that building, we'll come third party you. So Zebra Master needs to be careful here. Yeah, now they're starting to set their eyes on the big threat outside. Because, D+ Kia, there's not much they could do inside that building. So you can see them starting to push on out. But Zebra Master are very vulnerable from this position. One knock. Duello has that nade.
Look
if he
at
hits
those
it, it'll be
nades.
huge.
They're raining a whole entire red zone. I saw one player had 6 nades in their hand, and they're throwing everything. They're throwing the kitchen sink, and Duello, with all that pressure, feels the need to rise up to push him back, and Duello does go down. A revive will come through. One of the players gets carried back, but Duello, I don't think will be able to be saved. Zebra Master biting way more than they can chew, though. Yeah, they're pushing Team Plus and Rejects all out at the same time. Duello might be able to get revived here, and Zebra Masters are actually out. They're
Zebra
out.
Master bit off more than they could chew, focusing on too many teams at once. They had to hard commit on one or the other, or just what they should have done was just hold the hill. Hold the hill, focus behind them, didn't worry about these teams. But yeah, getting taken out is going to be critical, and now Reject going to just be able to get up there. Wolf takes down the Death Wolves. Only 3 teams remaining.
Rejects back up to 4. Duello somehow getting revived right there. Next, Ruya with 2. D+ with 3. And Jukes, look at that circle. It's not a big shift, but that may be the biggest shift you've ever seen for the likes of Rejects.
I mean, this is just south, south, south. The zone just keeps going in this direction, and this is the final zone, guys. This is the last place it's going to go. This zone will go into nothing in a very, very short few moments. So you can see K trying to get a nade on this Wolf, doesn't get it done. Wolf gonna try to be able to get one knock here. He needs to time this nade. Honestly, there's no reason he should throw it right now. Yeah, he should hold on to all his util till at least there's like, 5 seconds left, or when the zone starts closing.
Look at Regioso, just working on his aim right now.
Or no, maybe he was clearing his back.
He shot
seriously
3 trees with a DPS at that range.
I think you never know. You never know, baby, right? You gotta make sure that, hey, if someone's behind these trees, I need to be sure,
No. Here's the thing. I think, okay, they have... Sarah with a nice knock right there.
Why would you
peek? D+ shouldn't even look at Rejects. They should just focus on the team behind them. Yeah, it's just... D+ just really not playing correctly whatsoever. I just have to throw it up to that. Z-Wolf getting close with that nade now, and he does find Nobu. D+ down to 2. Can D Plus get anything done right now? They only have one elimination to their name, and they are getting peppered down. D Plus down to the one player. Next, Ruya looking to get at least the second place now.
Oh, Team Reject is licking their lips right now. Oh, Swoop with this spot, though, could be dangerous. For sure. He's gonna have to do it all by himself, though. If he gets knocked, it's all over. Gotta hit these shots. It's all up to Swoop. If any other team that Reject's gonna win, it's up to him.
That's it.
Oh, never mind. Here comes Blue.
No
Yes,
more long
down.
range. Only the
Over.
DPS. They never finish off the last player of D+, so I think that is a mistake out of the side of Z-Wolf right there. Rejects just sitting pretty now.
Oh.
One of them gets naded, but I think Rejects are still fine. Wait, Rejects only has 2? I thought they still had 4. Next Ruya could do this.
Okay, getting taken out. It almost looked like they were kind of working as a squad because they knew what the best thought was. But now it's just Kane. Last one up, Reiji, looking to have a monster performance here. One more elimination. That'll be 15 and a chicken dinner. That nade looks good. Oh, just a little bit too far. Gun switch. It's all over, baby. It is Team Reject with a monster chicken dinner.
I think the biggest chicken dinner yet. I didn't even see how many elims they had after that. 15. That is definitely the biggest I've seen so far for this tournament. 15 eliminations in the grand finals. And Rejects are just starting to heat up. Earlier, we saw them shoot the trees, right? So I think that's another part of their rituals, right? First, you shoot the loot boxes. And then, to display even more confidence, take the time to do some, aim training. With that DVS in hand. Do some quick flicks on the 3 trees, like, if these guys aren't gonna come out and let me shoot them, I'm gonna target practice elsewhere. That's their thought process right there.
Using PMGO to practice? Are you kidding me? Oh, 7! Hey, Alpha 7 and Reject had a 28-point gap before this game.
Definitely got close. It's definitely got it close. By the way, Reject, man, I'm so glad you guys highlighted this when it was happening during the match. The 2-2 splits, the splits that this team was able to actually have towards the south of the circle. Yes, they did end up getting blessed by the zone, but the way they were able to control that whole south is ultimately what ended up winning that match for them. We saw them being able to third party Alpha 7 with Death Wolves. Not only that, they also win in third party a different fight, which was between ISC and Royals of War. They were consistent, they were making sure that they were proactive, and ultimately that's what ended up getting the win right there. By the way, Zebra Masters, I felt like they got a little bit too crazy without what they were thinking. They have players from D plus Kia knocked in the building, and then on top of that, they were taking the fight with Rejects, which they were able to knock some players. They switched their whole focus towards the Reject players, and they ended up backfiring because Zebra Masters could have definitely made a big surprise there if they would have just stick to one team only.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give them a pass though. I'll actually give Zebra Master a pass because it is their, and this is the reason why I say that, right? Is because this is their first time playing here. I guarantee you in their region and the tournaments that they played, that works, right? It's okay to do because you're so good that you can take on 2 squads at once. But when you're against the best teams in the world, it doesn't work, right? So the reason why I'll give them a pass this time is because I'll say that, hey, you know what? It's a lesson that they needed to learn, but this is the last time I give it. I mean, they have to just realize, hey, we can't do splits like this anymore. We have to take on one team at a time.
For a team that was in 15th place with only 16 points, they ain't getting no pass from me, Sute.
I think I share a lot of empathy for the team because, I've been there as a competitive player. You're in like the final circle. You have so many different options, and you just make a huge play. The game-winning play for Death Wolves was to take out Rejects, right? But that was the play that was going to be the hardest. But when they hit those nades, all of a sudden, I'm pretty sure the IGL, a couple members on the team, switched gears. They saw the path to winning the match, not just taking out D plus, going in the building and then losing ultimately to Rejects. They saw a chance to sweep out the side and take everything, and in the heat and the adrenaline kicks in, the energy's up there. There's only like 5 teams left. You could probably win this with a lot of eliminations. All of that happening all at once for a inexperienced team like the Death Wolves. This is their first time at the LAN stage. I could see that happening 9 times out of 10, and it's just going to take more and more experience for them to navigate those types of situations. So I also give them the pass. I think they had the right idea. They just don't have the experience yet to kind of really, pull it off or know how to play it fully correctly from front to back.
Yeah, I definitely see where you guys are coming from. Hear me out. I'm not an ex-pro player, okay? I've never been in those situations. I only get a chance to see it from a different, completely perspective, and from my end, if Zebra Masters would have just focused a little bit more there on what we would have been able to see, imagine. But you know what? Let's go and interview with Reject.
And we are back here with the winner chicken dinner in the hands of Reject Team. And I have here with me Sarah. Congratulations on this last victory. And I would like to know, how did you guys manage so well the late stages of the game, because it was really hard?
Sorry?
How did you manage the late stages of the game, the last safe zone?
Well, actually, it was good zone. We got a good circle all the time from the start. That's why we could make it chicken dinner, and we stay calm as well. Yeah, that's why.
Awesome. And you know what? Brazilian fans don't seem to like you guys' victory. How did you guys handle the pressure here?
No, I don't have any pressures here. Like the drums from the fans, like screaming, the whistles from the Brazilian fans, makes us more power from actor. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. And what can we expect from you guys in the next match?
Maybe we are top 2 now, so we're gonna be a top 1 next match.
Okay, we will see how this game will reflect in the next match. And you guys, stay tuned, because we will come back with more action really soon. Oh.
He was left hanging. He wanted to say something more. He wanted to say, admins in Japan, we're going to continue to shoot boxes, baby. We're going to continue to go for that first place, because right now they're looking so good, man. Talk about how we were mentioning Alpha 7 yesterday being able to get 3 chicken dinners. With that win right there for Reject, that's another team now, Hot Jukes, with 3 chicken dinners.
Man, I'm so glad that we get to see the player cams and the audience cam. Because obviously it's all Alpha 7 inside the audience, and I want to see their faces right now, and I also want to see their hands, because I can imagine that, the nails that they have got to be all bitten off by now.
Gone. Absolutely gone. I can't wait to see what the leaderboard is going to be looking like, Sute, because as Hotjix was mentioned earlier, Alpha 7 went into that last match with a 28-point gap from first to second place. And you know what? We're going to be getting to the match rankings, so we can do the math real quick. With Reject being able to get 25 points there, I'm not sure how many points Alpha 7 ended up winning, but the gap, it's pretty much going to be gone.
Can't believe it.
25 points for Rejects in one match. That is crazy, Hot Jutes.
It's unreal. It really is unreal. I thought that gap was going to hold all day long, and in just one match, poof, goodbye. Anytime we've seen a 25-point game or a 20-point game, the leaderboard goes nuts. We see teams jump like 9 positions. So, oh man, Alpha 7 cannot let off the gas even a little bit today.
And this was the biggest worry all along. This is why I was personally starting to nitpick a little bit on Alpha 7 yesterday with their performances, even though it was such a high. There was bound to be a teammate that was going to end up challenging. And look at this, Regioso. 8 eliminations, 1,000 damage. And so far, this player has just showcased so much great stuff today. Not only just from this MVP performance, but earlier, Sute, I was talking about this player when we went to Sandhawk. He was the one that was able to get those off angles early on in the fights.
Yeah, Reiji just really confident right now, and you can tell with just how well he's playing. He's the team's designated, off angler too. Earlier when they had the Potato Hill, it was Regioso way off to the side by himself, looking to get some more points, and they got some points onto Alpha 7 actually, if you can recall, where he sniped down that one player and left Alpha 7 in a 1v1, which ultimately led to Alpha 7 only ending the match with 3 points.
And that's kind of the proactiveness we were talking about, right? With rejects, what they were able to do there, just being so proactive. And look at this gap. 28 point gone. It's gonna just come down to 6 points. Next, REGNUM moves up 4 spots as well, but Alpha 7 is gonna start feeling that pressure now.
Dun dun dun! Oh boy! I remember yesterday, 7. At the end of the day, you started to criticize Alpha 7 a little bit, and I remember I said, 7. The only reason why you're saying this is because of what happened at PMGC. Because I remember you were like, hey, Alpha 7, yeah, you got 3 chicken dinners, but that was almost all of your placement points,
Yep.
And now, I think anybody watching can be like, you know what, 7 was right, because look, they got caught just like that.
And that's the thing, like the highs were very high, but besides that, if they weren't getting those chicken dinners, they weren't really obviously getting those placement points.
Look at them.
The whistles are gone. I was hearing drums earlier. I'm not seeing any drums now. You can see the energy definitely switching. And ultimately, this kind of stuff, not only does it end up affecting the fans right there that are from Alpha 7, the players are also going to start feeling it. And I was talking about this early on in the day, too. Because Alpha 7, knowing the players, being able to talk to them, being able to hang out with them, Hajix, as we're going to be going here on the second match of Erangel of day 2, that's going to start affecting them. It could end up getting into their head. It could end up making themselves doubt even more on certain situations.
Oh boy, well, let's see what's going to happen as we get into match number 3. Zute, thank you so much. 7, let's get into it, man, because I remember when we were in Saudi Arabia, we were busting out the Google Translate, we were talking to these guys, and it's so interesting to see just their whole mental factor when it goes into a tournament, because they definitely didn't have a performance in that one that they were looking for. They start off strong here, and man, getting caught by, out of all the teams, reject just like that, it's definitely going to be a little bit nerve-wracking for sure.
Yeah, and the thing is, with that, just talking in regards still to the previous match for Alpha 7, they had to make a tough rotation, too, from the circle. They didn't end up getting Zone Blessed, as Reject ultimately did end up getting Zone Blessed. They were doing the rotation, they got caught by Death Wolves, and then for Reject to be able to just kind of peek over their head and make it even harder for Alpha 7, that's like the cherry on top, because at the end of the day, oh my goodness! I was gonna mention something, but we gotta mention this circle right here, because that is absolutely filthy, Hot Jukes.
I haven't seen a zone like this in a hot minute, man. Oh, we're gonna have to see some hardships immediately. The same fight, once again, back to back. Here goes S2G versus HFIYS.
S2G gonna be looking to replicate what happened in the previous match. Hopefully not lose any players and end up eliminating HFIYS. And HFIYS, for a team that we got a chance to see what they did, in the qualifier finals. We also got a chance to hear what they were saying in regards to the interviews, getting them very confident, which is ultimately what you want to see from teams like this, from teams that just haven't been here before, but maybe a little bit too confident, Hajix, as this team is currently sitting in 15th place with 21 points, and they're continuing to hot drop S2G.
And that's where they're going to stay, to be honest, if they keep on doing this hot drop. Yeah, I think even S2G realizes this is bad. Yeah, S2G smart.
Yep.
Very, very smart. Even though they had the initial knock, they just know it's not worth it. They're so low on the leaderboards that they need every single point they can get. And yeah, trying to get 4 eliminations is great, but the amount of time you lose looting, the amount of time, the chance you have of losing 1 player, it's just not worth it.
And currently with the circles I think they definitely realize that circle. They're like,
oh yeah,
if we want to even make it inside this circle, we gotta start rotating quick. Let's not worry about this fight. Let's loot, let's reset ourselves, and actually start focus about how we're gonna be making it into that circle. Hopefully they can get some scouting done, because the thing that we were seeing a lot with this hot drops is teams just wouldn't have time. Yeah, you would end up winning the hot drop, but they wouldn't have time to scout. They would be going in super blind, and that would be the end of the match for them.
I guarantee you that was their comms. The second they saw that zone, like you mentioned, they said, you know what, we're not going to fork around here, because we got to get out of here quick. Because with a circle like this, half of the zone is in water. That means that this might as well be circle 3.
That's ridiculous. And you're still going to have all the teams alive, too. Nobody has gotten knocked. All the players are going to be up and running. HFIYS, I want to get a chance to talk about this team a little bit more. I was kind of nitpicking a little bit of what I got to chance to hear from their interviews because they did sound so confident. This is kind of what I was talking about in regards to this team. That's what you want to see, Hodgix. You want to see a team being confident, but the thing is, you don't want that confidence to end up becoming a little bit too overconfident because you're going to be disrespecting some of the teams that you might need to start taking serious. And at the moment, I feel like that's what HFIYS is running into. And they could also be running into what Zebra Master's running into earlier with what you were saying, that you were giving them a pass because they just never been here before. This is the first time they are here in this kind of situation.
Yeah, that's the thing is that, I don't really give passes too often, and I only gave him that one specifically because, it's so, kind of what Zute said, there's so much chaos going on towards the end.
Yep.
And if you're a team new to this, you may think that what your old strategies, let's do this split, you focus that way, I'll focus this way, will work. And then they face the best teams in the world, and they got to realize and learn quick that, you can't do that. But hold on, we'll get back to that as we start to watch Worlds of War. Tonka catching out their IGL order. Man, Nova getting caught bad. That was a nice shot as well. Royals of War not messing around here.
A team that's going to be getting no passes is going to be Nova from us as Royals of War is taking the fight here, and it's going to be just Dream Alive. Honestly, Nova Esports has been possibly the biggest disappointment for me. I was going to say Team Falcons, but I feel like Nova Esports, two-time champions of PMGC. Yes, I know this team is a little bit different. Yes, I know Jimmy isn't in this squad anymore. But we were expecting a lot more of this team. And something that I started to notice more and more is that Nova Esports, when we get to those close quarters, they're not like the Nova Esports that we used to be. It seems like they're just handicapped and they're not able to actually excel in those close quarter fights.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, right? The close quarter combat has elevated unbelievably in just the past couple of years. Heck, I might as well say past couple of months, So that's definitely going to be tough to navigate through. I mean, we definitely know that in that mid-range, long range, yep. Nova still got it. That's for sure, right? But, close quarter combats, I think they're definitely realizing that they're going to have to be on the back foot quite a bit. Now, we also know that they're a late tournament team, but when you got a very good close quarter combat squad like Reject, right, getting 25 points when they get a good circle, I mean, I don't think you can afford to even try to play that same strategy.
Yeah, as we see Smoke Gaming, a team that hasn't been able to pull out some of the upsets that I was personally expecting to out of this team, ends up losing one player there. But going back to what you were saying there with Nova, they are usually a late team, right? A late team comes in the second day, but now this match right here, once it's done, is going to be our halfway point of day 2. And the crazy part too is that, yeah, Alpha 7 might not be putting up the consistency that we want to see whenever they don't get chicken dinners. But Reject is now starting to put up consistency. Reject is now starting to put up those points. Smoke Gaming is able to cut somebody there from Reject. And this is not good for Reject as we're talking about consistency. They're going to be full sending it here. Duelo is going to be able to spot a player there from Smoke Gaming. They're going to end up losing one player. They possibly end up losing more players here if they don't be careful. Smoke Gaming does end up sending the Molotov. And here comes the push from the two last players of Smoke Gaming.
Yeah, that was a little overconfidence there from Reject to be able to push that building in by themselves. Now we're going to see what happens. Those Mish catches them with that DVS, gets the quick thirst. And yeah, I think Alpha 7 fans are cheering right now because they want to see Reject go out early. And they're gone.
Let me see that crowd. There you go.
Look at them right now.
That's what we're expecting. Where's the drums at? I want to see the drums. I was promised some drums. I want to start seeing those drums. Okay, if there was ever a chance for Alpha 7, even though they already ended up losing one player, to create a gap again, this would be the match right here. Or for any of the other teams. I mean, look at the gap between second place and third place. That is a 19-point gap. And they definitely want to close it because come tomorrow, these teams are going to be looking to... Now they're going to have more data to go over. Now they're going to be able to go and break down a lot more stuff of how certain teams are reacting to certain situations here in the PMGO Brazil 2024 main event. Oh. And this is why I'm starting to get a little bit worried for Nova Esports before we ended up seeing that fight there with Smoke Gaming and Reject. Because Nova Esports, yes, we know what you're capable of. We know that Paraboy can pop off. We know that Order can pop off as well. Sadly, I haven't gotten a chance to see the other two players and how they end up playing, how they can perform. But I mean, they're in Nova Esports for a reason. We just haven't seen it at this event. And I don't think the teams at the top I don't think they're gonna be slowing down, Hodges.
Oh, they're not. That's for sure. And especially with such a home court advantage, I will say this: this has probably been one of my favorite events to watch. I wish I was there so bad, Seven, because the crowd in Brazil. Like, you've been doing this a long time, right? I mean, from whenever I first was in a tournament, this was 2018. Have you ever in your life seen such a home court advantage in a tournament like this?
I got a glimpse of it, and that was this past PMGC when it came to S2G, because the crowd was right there. They had drums. They were hyping up their squad. So that's the closest I can think of. But this arena is a lot smaller. I feel like the players can definitely fear it a lot more. And you know what? As we're talking about the home crowd, Mafioso is going to be taking some shots there to Royals of War. Royals of War now trying to punish Alpha 7 here, but it's starting to backfire as Rebel's able to spawn some spots. Mafioso, even though he has low HP, going to be taking on some shots there to the last player, Cold Goat from Royals of War. McGrellin's still alive. Rebel more than likely is going to end up getting revived here. And the player that they did end up losing for Alpha 7 earlier was CARYA. You can see McGrellin there trying to confirm that elimination. One player left, Cold Goat there from Royals of War. They need to clutch this up. They're gonna end up getting surprised by Smoke Gaming.
Gremlin trying to get behind there to cover, and he does. Meanwhile, Zebra Master now coming on in. Alpha 7 gonna have to try to get these reses off as soon as possible. Zebra Master's going the other way. They might even be able to get some time here to breathe, but nope, now that time is up. Here comes Zebra Master on the third party. Alpha 7 are gonna have to make it happen.
The thing is that Zebra Masters is also now pushing them, but they need to be careful with Alpha 7 because they also have Smoke Gaming. Mafioso is going to be able to connect there with some players from Zebra Masters. Zebra Masters might be able to recover that player, but as I was mentioning earlier, Smoke Gaming from far away was starting to hinder the position of Alpha 7. Alpha 7 holding off just the right amount and trying to make sure Zebra Masters rethink their positions here, rethink if they actually want to take on this fight. Here come the grenades. Zebra Masters is so good with those grenades. Rebel's going to be making the push. Rebel's going to end up getting knocked, and it's just McGrellin, and McGrellin hasn't been... Actually, who is the ones that's still alive? It is going to be Mafioso. Mafioso ended up backing all the way up. Can he get away from this fight alive? And that's, I think, what he's going to be wanting to. They need to get this point. 3 points is not going to be just enough. Yes, they are still in first place. Yes, Reject is dead, but if there was ever a chance, as I mentioned earlier, for Alpha 7 to start creating a gap, would be here. It's going to be a lot tough, though, with just one player alive.
Yeah, right now it's really just a battle between these two teams, leaderboards-wise, and, Reject going out early was huge. You heard the crowd just go nuts when they got taken out, and now it's just up to Mafioso. Maybe he could try to steal another elimination, because at this point, it's just not looking good.
It's not looking good at all. Smoke Gaming definitely hindered the position there of Alpha 7. Zebra Masters, you know what? They might have learned from that mistake that they did earlier. They're like, we're going to put our full focus on this third party here. And we have more teams coming in as well. This is not looking good for Alpha 7 and Mafioso. He's just trying to run away. And guess what? He's going to end up getting caught there by D+. Alpha 7 only being able to get 3 points as Reject was able to get 2 points. So they're able to extend the lead by just 1 point.
Ugh, that's going to be tough. But you know what? They do extend that lead among the rest of the lobby as well. So if it's a battle between two, that's not going to be too bad. But you know what? Now the door is open, right? Yep. For teams like IHC, Vampire, next Ruya as well. And, kind of now that we have a little bit of a lull, I want to go back to what I was talking about Zebra Master. You know how I gave them a pass, right? I gave them a pass because I was like, hey, you know what? It's your first tournament that you're playing at this high level. First time you're in that situation, okay? So I'll give you that one pass. But we're talking about HFIYS. They kept top dropping S2G. That wasn't their first time. So they don't get a pass, right? Yeah. They don't. They should have left earlier. And I think seeing S2G leave so early because of this circle, now they're in a really good position in the zone. So, that's another team that, we definitely expected a lot from here. Yep. They have 41 total points. If they're able to get, a double elimination chicken dinner under their belt, they can finally start, trying to hunt down a top 3 spot.
They should definitely be able to do that. And you just mentioned it too. I mentioned it. Alpha 7 Rejects currently being out of this lobby. A perfect chance for those teams that are in third all the way to it to start closing the gap. We do have Vampire Esports. This is a team that was able to get a chicken dinner earlier today in the first game. They're wanting to continue to get those points. They're going to be able to spot Silas there from REGNUM CARYA. REGNUM CARYA, a team that I expect to see a little bit more of too, especially with how they were able to start the day. on the second half of the day. In some matches here and there on the first day, they were just a bit off. It's not the REGNUM CARYA that I was kind of getting used to seeing there from the prelims. Same with Team Falcons. We haven't really gotten a chance to see Team Falcons, and I'm not sure what it is, Hadjux. I honestly could not just narrow it down, because Team Falcons sometimes does end up putting themselves in good situations, but I feel like they overextend a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's been tough. I mean, especially considering, like where they decide to drop. And that's just the thing, is that, in a lobby like this that's so heavily stacked, somebody's got to be in 9th place. Someone's got to be in 10th, And if you just can't get the right zones, and if you pick a couple of bad fights, you're going to be in 8th position just like that. Look at this next circle. I mean, look at Team Falcons, right? They're one of the top teams in the lobby. The zone decides to go away from them. Now look how many monster squads they have to face trying to get in here. I mean, no matter how good you are, this is not an easy situation to be in.
Yeah, and that's when your scouting is going to come into play. Try to send one player, hope that he can find an opening without having to fight. That would be perfect. But if you do have to fight, I mean, Team Falcons, we know that they can fight. We just haven't been able to see it to the extent that we expected to here in the main event. We're going to be looking at IHC. So far, 4 players alive for IHC. But the thing is that they're actually in the circle right now, too. So maybe we might finally end up getting the what if IHC has all 4 players alive towards the end.
That'd be amazing. But I will say something, Seven. I think that what you just said is the problem, right? You send one player up, you try to find an opening. This is the PMGO. There's like hardly ever an opening. You have to get lucky. You have to hope on a third party. You have to hope that something happens, because if you're a team like Team Falcons up north, those squads that are in the circle are staring behind them. They're not making mistakes. None of them are looking in the middle. They're all looking behind their backs, trying to gatekeep anybody that is unfortunate, to not get blessed in that circle. So, yeah, like I said, it's all about timing, finding that opening if you do get lucky, and these openings are so slim. When they happen, you cannot hesitate.
Yeah, you definitely cannot hesitate, and I think that was why I was being a little bit tough there on Zebra Masters on the ending of that last match, because it felt like they were hesitating on which one they wanted to focus on. But I mean, with those veteran teams like Team Falcons, if we do see you hesitate, if we do see you make a mistake, no passes for you, no passes for me whatsoever. We have next Ria pulling up here. He needs to be careful, because Boom Esports is going to be very close by, as well as D plus Kia. Next Ria just trying to find an opening here, and it's going to be a tough one, as Boom is going to be able to spot him. But now Boom is taking some shots, and they end up getting knocked. This could be the opening that next Ria could be looking for. And D plus Kia, they're being quiet, but they could end up third partying this.
I think D plus Kia, after seeing how, passive they played that last match, I think that's what they're starting to err on the side of. They're in 14th place, and that's the hard part, is we have some teams, when they get so low on the leaderboards, they automatically revert to passiveness, and you'll never get out of in this meta, you'll never get out from the bottom playing like that. If you're D plus Kia, you have to get aggressive right now. Try to take advantage of the fact that next Ria could be pinched by 2 squads, but instead they're just going to chill, smoke out, and just see what happens.
I think I got a chance to see that right. What a beautiful name, but I think I got a chance to see that right on the elimination feed, and somebody from Team Falcons. So I think Team Falcons was able to find a way to get into this zone, as they were able to knock somebody from Boom, which we were just seeing that fight. IHC, though, we're talking about them having all their 4 players alive. High-FIYS is going to be very close by. REGNUM CARYA, I think I ended up seeing them on the elimination feed as well. They're going to be making a push. Demo OG gonna be looking for an angle here. Here we go. Push from REGNUM CARYA. High-FIYS is very close by as well. IHC trying to hold them off, and he's gonna be able to find a cheeky angle there behind some of the players. Can he connect? He is gonna be able to connect, and he should be able to pick up his teammate right here.
Zyhole with a perfect just pre-fire through the window, just trying to support his teammate. Oh my gosh, S2, he was standing in the middle of the open there. That was a free knock. Beautifully done. The next zone goes up. IHC, you're going to have to start moving pretty quick here, because the zone's going to start closing. Hardly anybody's actually in this circle.
And not that many teams within that circle. High-FIYS currently they have 1 player alive here, and it's going to be against IHC, and IHC is going to be able to reset here. S2G trying to find a way into the circle. They're going to have most of the north free from them. And there you go. High-FIYS losing that last player. IHC gonna be able to worry about how they're gonna be rotating in, but they gotta watch out because we saw what happened earlier. REGNUM CARYA is very close by, and as well as Vampire Esports. This is gonna be a tough rotation for them. And oh, did you by any chance get a chance to see that player cam? Hi-Fi starting to look at each other, starting to argue with each other, and that's what can happen when stuff isn't going your way, Hajux.
Oh, it could happen immediately, you know? I mean, we heard these guys in their interviews, you know, they were kind of talking about, like, we're not worried about this team and that one, and this is what happens when you're so down on the leaderboards. That frustration's gonna come out. But meanwhile, before we can get into that, this is non-stop action here in the PMGO. Look at this. IHG staring at Vampire Esports. They have all 4 up. Vampire, you better be careful.
That's crazy considering that Vampire was able to make that rotation first. I think they were trying to play that gatekeep. They are gonna more than likely be able to pick up that player. IHG, here comes down the smokes. They know S2G is gonna be behind them, and they're gonna try to find an opening here within this circle. Meanwhile, all the other teams, Zebra Masters, are sitting pretty right now inside the circle. Here comes the shots from Sayol into Vampire Esports. He's not gonna be able to connect. He is gonna be able to connect. There you go. Correct me, please, Sayol. Hit those shots. Now, can you confirm that into an elimination? And he's trying to, Hotjukes.
Oh, he blows up the vehicle, so that just leaves them pretty much out in the open. You can see the smokes come out immediately. Meanwhile, we're going to switch the fight on over to Team Falcons. They're actually going to get the finish onto Boom, so they do find their way into the circle, coming on through that east side, right on the bottom of Quarry. So they're going to have to creep in little by little. And yeah, Team Falcons, you can see they already have a player all the way up on top scouting for them. So, I mean, heck, this could be finally that bounce back game we've been waiting to see from them.
It could be, and I would have loved to see how that team ended up rotating into the circle, because we were talking about it there for a long time, saying they needed to send it up somebody to scout, and I think they ended up working out that so well with their timing too, as possibly the east of the circle when they ended up rotating into this one was wide open. But now Nextria, we saw what Nextria was able to do earlier too. Surprise Boom, kind of made Boom back off. And now we're going to be switching to this fight. This is the fight that I was waiting for. It's going to be none other than IHC versus H2G. H2G is going to be able to find somebody there from IHC. He's going to be able to knock a Hamsi. We saw what he was able to do yesterday. Switching back and forth. Hamsi being able to spot people. He's currently the only one alive, though. He needs to be careful because those off angles from IHC are just too much. And IHC, once again, eliminating the team quickly and trying to reset, keeping all their 4 players alive.
Look at the player cams, the frustration, right? Coming out immediately when they get finished. Oh, so bummed out. But IHC is now on fire. 11 eliminations! 11! This is what we're talking about, 7, right? If they can keep all 4 up, this team is dangerous.
And not only that, this is why I'm getting a little bit scared there for some of the other teams. Look at this circle as well. The thing is, IHC is not getting blessed whatsoever. We always give props to teams that get blessed and be proactive. Guess what? IHC is having to fight their way in. And right now, if they could take over the compound against Smoke, that'd be great. But let's switch over to this fight currently happening on your screen, which is going to be D plus Kia versus Nextria.
D plus Kia just too passive now. It's just way too passive. Only 1 elimination. You can just see K just trying to throw some 180s, 360s, 1080s, trying to figure out what to do. Pre-firing through smokes. No one's home. Yeah, it's just not looking good for D plus Kia.
It's not looking good whatsoever. You mentioned the passiveness there out of this team. And here comes the push. K making it way too easy there for Nextria, as he was the last player alive from D plus Kia. And D plus Kia, even though they ended up getting that 3rd place in the last match, they only ended up with 1 elimination. And that's something that Sute was mentioning. Just way too passive, and we got a chance to see it here again. But here we go. IHC making that full commitment over to where Vampire Esports was. And yo, you're gonna be able to knock some players too from Vampire Esports. Stone's gonna be knocked, and he's gonna be trying to get some angles, find even more openings for his team. IHC does not care who's in front of them. They're going for it. Zebra Masters now starting to 3rd party.
Like you said, they're not caring who's in front of them, but they gotta watch out who's behind them. Neo Zada just kind of cresting that hill beautifully on time. They end up eliminating Vampire, and now IHC are back down to their 3-man squad towards the end. Let's see if it's enough. And you know what? I think Zebra Master realized, oh my gosh, IHC has 3 people. Run away.
Not only do they have 3 people, they also have 14 eliminations to their name. And that was just such a crazy push there by that team. Zebra Masters maybe reminding themselves what happened in the last match, trying to remind ourselves, you know what, let's set ourselves up for the end of this match. Death Wolves is going to get eliminated. Falcons, a team that definitely needs a great match here so far with 6 eliminations, and they're going to start pushing over towards where next REGNUM is at. Fights are about to start happening, and fights are about to start getting crazy. Hydrix as the grenade is going to end up hitting for IC.
Here they go. I was about to say, you know, with how IHC is doing, they're going to have a great match no matter what. It's up to Falcons to see if they can have a good one. But who knows what's happening is they're going to be putting a lot of pressure onto next REGNUM here. They are at the edge of the circle, so they're still in this next zone. This is still stage 6. And this is all because of that crazy zone to start things off here. IHC with 14 having the run of their lives right here. And especially with how many players are still up, I mean, there's only more to add to the leaderboards.
And for next REGNUM, that is going to be a tough push out as they could end up being trapped there by that mountain, especially with Team Falcons looking at them. Look at where IHC is at now. Oof. They made themselves up there, and boy, that is scary because it's not only just a duo, but on top of that, you mentioned it earlier, they still have that trio. They still have that third player alive trying to find those off angles for his team. IHC looking to close the gap there between the first 2 teams. And next REGNUM, this is what I was scared about. Team Falcons is just going to have easy pickings here as next REGNUM tries to climb that mountain, and it's going to be a tough one.
The Wolf is able to get up there, but the rest of the team hasn't been able to do so far. I think Frozen was going to go try to follow that path that Z-Wolf set in front of him. Meanwhile, Swain is in the back, just completely stuck. Let's see if Ashley can hit one of these nades, though. It's going to have to be placed perfectly and cooked perfectly as well. Yeah, I think he'd do better off saving them. He needs to save those nades for later on.
A little bit too far away there, the next REGNUM players, for him to be able to connect with those nades. And now what Team Falcons needs to start focusing up on, it's what the next circle is gonna do, because it's gonna start closing in. They got about 1 minute and 20 seconds of this circle before the new one pops up. And next REGNUM play. I'm surprised nobody ended up getting knocked yet. I'm surprised they were able to even move out of that little warehouse right there, because I was expecting at least 1 player to get knocked. They got very close, but luckily for them, it didn't end up happening.
Yeah, I said they definitely got lucky because of this circle, right? The fact that it hard shifted south gives them a lot more time to breathe here. And they were very fortunate that Z-Wolf was able to kind of just go up that hill at all. I'm surprised we didn't see Falcons push them a little bit harder, because if they would have pressed up and covered this hill, there's nothing next REGNUM could have done.
And now Top is the one that's going to find himself still towards the bottom, hoping that his teammates at the top are going to provide some cover for him if Top can just connect with one of these nades. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. If he would have timed that perfectly to explode right when it went over his head, easier said than done, that would have been beautiful. That might have been the nade for me of the day, as Top has been spotted. Top could be the distraction, though, that maybe his teammates need to try to find those next REGNUM players. There you go. That's what I was hoping for, as IC is able to spot them. And now here come the nades. But for Team Falcons, I know you definitely want this eliminations. They're going to get them, and now they're going to be able to switch their focus towards the other teams that are there. Zebra Masters and Smoke Gaming as well. We see 1 player very close by.
Smoke Gaming still up with 2 players. Wild 77k down there from REGNUM CARYA. That Molly, that nade's gonna do it! Make that 15 eliminations, matching Team Reject's performance from the last game already. But you know what? They're gonna have to get the chicken dinner if they want to match it. And that's gonna be tough, because Team Falcons are finally starting to soar here with 9 eliminations, and they have all 4 up.
That's the scary part. That is the scary part for me. Team Falcons having their 4 up, they're being aggressive, they're being mathematicians here, just taking their time, you know, trying to solve this puzzle, trying to see where everybody's currently at. I see being forced to back off with the way that the circle ended up working out, and now Zebra Masters just waiting. Honestly, this is the only thing that you could do for Zebra Masters if you are within that building right there, because not only do you have to worry about Team Falcons, you also have to worry about IHC if you do end up pushing out from the back.
Let's see what ends up happening. Hey, Zebra Master, I know I told you I'd give you a pass on the last game. This is gonna be hard. Good luck. I hope you learned your lesson quickly, because now you're gonna have to try to focus on 1 squad at a time when you were completely pinched inside of some warehouses. Meanwhile, you got Smoke Gaming on the other end, just trying to make some noise. You can see them trying to focus on their backs as well. Smoke Gaming's definitely at a huge disadvantage, but they can definitely disrupt some of these big teams.
The Smoke Gaming, a team that hasn't been able to do so well here in this tournament, but they've been able to get some points. There you go, Team Falcons with the 4 that we were talking about. They are going to be able to spot them and eliminate some of them, as Icy with the grenades, just massive nades, but Icy overextends too much, and Zebra Masters find the opening on Team Falcons.
And here they go. That knock on Icy is going to be critical, especially at this time. You can see IHC is going to definitely start pushing the action. If IHC is able to rotate all the way to that left side and crest that hill, Team Falcons is done for. So they got to be very, very careful here, because then Team Falcons going to be the one pinched between Zebra Master and IHC.
They're just taking their time for Zebra Masters, using that smoke to their advantage. You can see Action slowing down his gameplay as well. This is what you want to see out of an experienced team like Team Falcons. Waiting to see what everybody else is going to be doing. And we are on the final circle, Hot Jukes. Your favorite one, my favorite one, because everybody is going to be forced to fight here at some point. And guess who's going to be starting the fight there? It's going to be none other than Zebra Masters somehow. What? Zelda, you got away with that? That was insane. I thought the player from Team Falcons wasn't going to be able to spot him as he jumped out. IHC is going to get spotted by Zebra Masters. Zebra Masters being forced here to take 2 different fights between 2 different teams, and it is going to be costly.
Zebra Master not going out without a fight, though. They're putting in work with all that they have. That knock on the road was critical. They've knocked both of these teams by themselves here. Meanwhile, Team Falcons, they have the huge advantage when it comes to the circle. They have the most real estate. Action's trying to sneak his way up with that DBS. It's anyone's game here. Here come out the nades. It's going to be up to Devil to hold a 1v2 situation. Zebra Master, Neil Zada coming on out with a DBS, trying to pre-fire. People are getting knocked all over the place.
And that is going to be it for IHC. It's only just going to be Neil Sada alive from Zebra Masters, and it's not looking good for him, as he's going to have to go up against 4 players from Team Falcons. Team Falcons smelling that blood in the water. They're going to be looking to close this out, and here comes the push as Neil Sada is able to knock one, but it's not good enough as Team Falcons finally gets the win at the main event of the PMGO Brazil 2024. Wait. Okay, I was a little bit confused there. We started showing their Zebra Masters. I was like, no. That ain't happening. Look at them, though. Look, this is the thing, though. They know that they need to do a lot better than this. They know that they need to close the gap. But I'm so glad, Hot Jukes, that we finally are getting a response out of Team Falcons. This should push them up the leaderboard in a big way.
This team never fails to make me chuckle, because that was their reaction after getting a 15 elimination chicken dinner. Can you believe it?
Oh, there's a smile. There's a smile from top.
A little smile, because he's saying, okay, so you're saying there's a chance. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what this game was. IHC, we have to give them some flowers too, because man, these guys really popped off in this one. Imagine if they had all 4.
I was just about to say that. Just imagine, what if? But it was a great game by IHC. The way that they had to push into every circle, all the fights that they took outside of the circle as well, ultimately led them to a top 3 situation. And here we go. We get to see the reaction of this. Okay, we got to see some excitement.
All right.
Okay, this is more like what we're expecting. A little bit of excitement. Nothing over the top like some of the other teams do, but just the right amount.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think they're definitely frustrated with how they've started so far.
Yep.
That one put them back in the game, though, especially considering that Alpha 7 and Reject went out early. They still have a lead. They're going to have a lead regardless, right?
Yep.
But that closed that gap big time, especially considering that now that we're only at the halfway point of this tournament.
We are at the halfway point, and now we're starting to talk about teams at the top that are looking to expand on that cushion points that they have, making that gap even bigger and bigger. The thing that we haven't mentioned, and now that you mentioned halfway point, my mind goes straight to it. Those teams at the bottom, they're going to be looking to get those highlights. They're going to be looking to maybe go up against Nova Esports, and this is why I was getting a little bit worried for Nova Esports, as I mean, those teams at the bottom, they know that they're not going to be challenging. They know that the prize pool is not going to be that much of a difference where they are currently located. Why not go for some highlights? And who else? If you can start hunting down some of the teams like Nova Esports, add Paraboy to your highlight. That will definitely get you some views.
Zoo, you saw the match. I saw you do that. I saw you do that little head shake. What are you thinking?
I mean, it was a great game. for a lot of these teams. Falcons, about time they start showing up, and I think this is probably the best time for them to show up, the halfway point, right?
Yep.
Really change the course of the game, really change, your mindset halfway. You still got a lot of games left to go. It's great, and Alpha 7, and also, I mean, you got to throw Rejects in there now because they're both like contending for first. Them two both going out early did open up the gateway for a lot of the other teams to catch up. IHC in particular, I know you guys are saying, imagine if they had 4. Well, to be fair, they did have 4. They had 4 into the late game, as late as it has been so far for them. I don't think we've seen them with 4, that late into the game. And that last push was a difficult push where they pushed into Vampires, and it was Zebra Masters, I think, right over the top of them at the same time. Them only losing 1 player there to breach that circle, I think that was as good as it could get. Sure, keeping 4 up would have been amazing. It would have been spectacular. But I think that would have had to rely more on another team messing up rather than playing, to their tip top, which they did, and they only lost 1.
I'm with you. I think that's what was so impressive to me, that they were even able to make that crazy push, because we just saw that when we switched over to that fight, we just saw vehicles crashing and I see players just starting to pop out of everywhere, and only 1 player ended up getting eliminated. So for them to be able to do that, and I feel like it speaks volumes of their confidence as well, that they were able to carry throughout that whole match, because Jukes, we were seeing them. They were willing to take fights, and they were eliminating teams with ease.
Yeah, it wasn't even willing. They had to, right? They did not get any love when it comes to that circle at all. And I agree, Zoo. We just said that because it's a meme at this point.
Yeah,
I mean, the fact that they can't keep all 4 up, you're right. I mean, majority of teams wouldn't have even made it there, right? The fact that they made it with 3, only losing 1 in those fights is insane. So, I mean, IHC, I think they're probably one of the deadliest squads in this lobby if they have all 4 up. And it's just because of these zones, right? That they're struggling, but at the same time having a lot of success regardless.
They were having a lot of success. A team that was able to find a little bit of success again is going to be Zebra Masters. And I was talking about those teams towards the bottom that are probably going to start switching their mindset in regards to how they're thinking about this tournament. It's not only the possible, not even hot dropping, just hunting down some of the top teams, right? Trying to stop their trajectory from reaching the top. But it's also stealing those points that those teams are going to need to close the gap. And I think that's why I'm so happy that Team Falcons woke up here at the halfway point, like Sutil was mentioning, is because it's going to get harder and harder to get those points. Some of the other teams, they're going to get to a point where they're just not going to give a damn. They're going to take whichever fight is possible because their tournament is pretty much over. They're going to be getting the exact same amount of prize pool. And we've seen it before, Jukes. We've seen it before, Sute. At what point do we start expecting that out of some of those teams? I mean, we're already seeing some of the bottom teams take points away from the teams that are towards the top, trying to close the gap between first place and second place.
I mean, honestly, if I'm really thinking about it, I'm trying to get my IGL brain going, right? If I was a coach, if I was an IGL, what would I be doing if I was in that, let's just call it Nova. Nova's in 11th place, or they're around there, right? Yep. With not too many points, right? So, considering that they had about 40 points going into this one, halfway point of the tournament, you know that there's no big difference from 4th place on down prize pool wise, so you need top 3. You need to start hunting down the top teams, and you need a performance like we saw from some of these squads. So you need a 20-point game, right? So you have to start taking it now. I really do, right? I mean, why drop S2G when you can drop Alpha 7 and hope that you can do that? I'm talking about you, HFIYS, right? Might as well at this point.
Yeah. For a second there, you catfished me. I thought you were still talking about Nova. I was like, ooh, okay. All right, let him cook. What if Nova did end up hot dropping Alpha 7? I know the crowd reaction would be absolutely insane today.
Yeah, that, one can only imagine, but I think Hot Jukes is absolutely right. The other thing to consider, though, a big thing to consider, is a lot of these teams that are struggling, right, that are like, second page and lower, they've been struggling because they're trying to make that front page. They're trying to make that top 3, and as the tournament goes on, and specifically at this very moment, some of those teams might realize, like, hey, we're out of our depth here. These guys are just too good. This is our first time here, or, we're just not prepared, and the pressure comes off. right? And once the pressure is off for them to try and chase that top 3, they may start playing better, honestly, right? A bit more relaxed, a little bit more loose, and if anything, they might just get more aggressive where it's like, we don't care if we lose all 4 players. You have to knock, we're going to go in and just thirst them. And now all of a sudden, top teams are more likely to lose 1 player, 2 player against the weaker.
या तो थोड़ा सी लो कर सकते हैं. बाकी मेरा साउंड वहाँ पे ठीक आ रहा है तो ये थोड़ा बता सकते हो तो ज़्यादा अच्छा है यार. मतलब वन ऑफ द रीज़न मुझे ना अभी बीच में नींद आ रही थी कि मैं खुद अपनी स्ट्रीम पे साउंड नहीं सुन पा रही हूँ. अब ठीक है, बस उसे ऑफ ही रहने दे. नहीं यार, ऑफ तो नहीं यार, एकदम ही. क्या चल रहा है अभी? पिछले मैच में बस मैंने चैट पढ़ी है. पता नहीं बट क्यों लग रहा है कि आईएससी और फैल्कन्स मस्त खेलेंगे इस बार. अब response from Alpha 7. 83. क्या बात, कोरियन टीम्स भाई. वॉचिंग क्यों नहीं है आज? वन ऑफ द रीज़न कि मेरा कैम ऑन नहीं है. दूसरा रीज़न, मैं अभी बीच में सो गई थी. मतलब यार मेरा मन था वॉच पार्टी करने का, बट देयर वाज सम रीजंस कि मेरी पता नहीं क्यों मेरा ना वॉच पार्टी में साउंड प्रॉपर नहीं जा रहा था. ठीक है, तो मुझे सॉल्व करना था, तो उसी बीच में झपके लग गए. मैंने कहा फिर मैं उठी अभी, मैंने कहा चलो अभी कंटिन्यू ही कर लेते हैं. कोई बात नहीं, कल होगी, कल देखते हैं. ठीक है. और ये भी है कि यार बहुत टाइम बाद चैनल एक्टिव आया है. और ये क्या कहते हैं अभी PMGO में ना ऑलरेडी वो है, क्या कहते हैं कि वहाँ ऑलरेडी एक क्या कहते हैं स्ट्रीम डिले भी है थोड़ा सी, साउथ एशिया एंड ऑल. तो ऐसा हो सकता है. बाकी पता नहीं यार, सिंपली ऊपर से रमज़ान भी चल रहे हैं. मेन एक्टिव ऑडियंस जहाँ की है वहाँ के लिए तो रमज़ान है, वो मुबारक उनको भाई. बट हमारे तो नहीं है ना, हम तो यहाँ बैठ सकते हैं. बाकी पता है क्या, अभी वॉचिंग पता है आएगी 9 बजे के बाद, 9 9:30 INR की बात कर रही हूँ, इंडियन IST. सॉरी, दैट्स फाइन, दैट्स फाइन, आई नो. क्योंकि 6:30 का इन्होंने टाइमिंग रखा हुआ है एंड उस टाइम पे तो है होती ही नहीं ऑडियंस पे. सही बताऊँ, अगर मैं एंडिंग मैचेस के लिए करती हूँ वॉच पार्टी तो कोई मतलब नहीं था ना फिर आखिरी के मैचेस के टाइम पे. गिव एनी डेक्स, एनी डेक्स देना पड़ेगा. रुको, हाउ टू बी अ पोर्ट्रेट मास्टर कहाँ से आया? तो वो चल रहा है. थोड़ा सा साउंड ठीक हो जाए ना, बाकी सही है भाई. कल से भी बढ़िया करेंगे. एक्सेप्ट क्या कह रहा है ये? पता नहीं क्या क्या कर रहा है. हाय लुफी, माफ़ करें हम पहले रिप्लाई नहीं दे पाए, हम उसमें कुछ नहीं कर सकते थे. मेरा ब्रेक बहुत बड़ा है, पता नहीं क्यों। वन कम फ्रॉम प्रोटल स्टोरी है, आई कम फ्रॉम प्रोटल स्टोरी। अच्छा, अरे वाह यार, अच्छा है, बढ़िया है, मुझे अच्छा लगा। लूफी दांत निकाल के हंस रही है। सही है यार, सही है भाई। मेरे कान पे क्या आवाज़ चुभ रही है ना, मैं क्या बताऊँ। मैं तो पोर्टल की स्टोरी सारी है तो मुझे फॉलो नहीं करते। जाओ जाके फॉलो करो, इतना काम तो करो अच्छे से, जाओ। बेचारा टॉरिस उसको अच्छा नचा दिया मैंने। हाँ वही, अरे लड़का अच्छा है वे।
Saw what they were able to do yesterday in Sandhawk with a mid-range fight against D+. It was an easy pickings for them.
All set?
But when it comes to close range, I feel like Nova's definitely struggling, and Nova's definitely struggling with their IGL so far here in the PMGO.
Yeah, when Nova is able to do that mid-range, long-range, and even they might get the most difficult shifts, they're like superb at navigating all of that. But the second it comes down to just close range, straight up 4v4, it gets really difficult, and nothing is more difficult on Erangel than that military base circle. And Falcons, wait, is that a hot drop onto IHC?
No, it's High-FIYS.
Wait, no. In the elimination feed just now.
Oh,
I mean,
we'll see it.
We'll see it in a second. Like this, yeah, this is a. Oh, it says 2G and High-FIYS once again. I mean, I guess they're both dropping here to get vehicles to drive towards Yasnaya, so it makes sense that we're seeing a hot drop between these two teams in a completely different location, but that might just be due to the plane path.
It's definitely due to the plane path. Usually different play paths means, you know what, we might not be likely to see the same hot drop as before, as we're nowhere near Yasnaya. But these two teams thinking the same. Great minds usually think alike. I mean, these two teams are currently in the main event for a reason. But High-FIYS decided to back off. STG as well decided to back off, and we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen there. Yeah, I know you mentioned Team Falcons. Team Falcons needs to continue to follow up on these good performances. Earlier in the first Erangel, they ended up with just 0 LMs, 15 plays, not what they want to see, but it's a bit of a bounce back. And you know what, STG, I was thinking they were going to back up from this. They decide to jump up. They want this fight.
He's got a machete in hand.
He has a knife on hand. He wants to be able to spawn, but they need to be careful. He's throwing it too. Imagine if that ends up hitting, as Racy does end up hitting those shotgun shots.
S2G getting some revenge for all the trouble High-FIYS has really, been giving them. And they're going to feel good about that one. And yeah, one of the
Falcons players, no, one of the IHC players did go down. So one of the IHC players is out, and I think Falcons is kind of caught in a split loot drop fight with Royals of War. There's just a lot of stuff going on, and I'm not surprised. Yeah, top right there, knocking one of Royals of War Revos going down there. And I think all the action, the pacing, early game has been heightened with the fact that we do have that military circle.
Yeah, that military circle is going to be crazy in Falcons, a team that usually can end up dropping in Novo. They didn't even want to take the chance, especially with the plane path. It was going to be a tough rotation for them, so they do end up landing here, and I think that's why they got caught off guard. You were mentioning, kind of spotted in a pinch situation. You saw IHC players being able to knock some of the Team Falcons players, and on top of that, Royals of War as well. Luckily for Team Falcons, they were only able to lose one player. They were able to kind of reset a little bit there. 3 players are going to be left. They're going to be focusing a lot more on those final circles. And here we go. We're going to get a chance to see it. Oh, that's what ended up happening right there. Nice cheeky shot. And then I swear, if that knife throw would have hit, I would have gone absolutely nuts to take from S2G.
Yeah, that would have been crazy. But hey, if all you have is that knife, may as well use it. And I like how they bump rushed them with all 3 players, right? 3v1. the best part for me was when they hopped out of the vehicle, I immediately noticed one player hopped out holding that knife. He definitely didn't have a weapon, but he did not care. IHC
getting some more points right there. IHC rotating out of Novo straight into HFIYS, who's forced to kind of more scrap loot. So HFIYS just really not getting anything done here. Sitting in last place.
What?
I think they spotted Monkey.
वो इसको जुकाम लगा हुआ है.
Monkey in a big bush, currently hiding, and he got away with it.
वो नाक पोंछ रहा था यार. That's so cute.
The only player alive right now for HFIYS. But look at IC. IC still wondering if they're gonna be able to spot that player. Meanwhile, Monkey, if I would recommend anything, stay still, don't move, because here come IC again. And they're looking to find you. They're looking around. You can see them. Right now they're just locked in on that eye icon, seeing if they can possibly spot that player. Oh, they're working in one more vehicle for IC, and they're gonna be backing up from this. Monkey getting away with it there in the bush.
Yeah, that bush really coming in clutch. I thought for sure the first time when they went back, it was because they spotted him out, but no, they just went for another vehicle. I wonder what Monkey's thinking. Monkey must be like, oh, I'm dead. Oh, they didn't see me. And then they come back again. He's like, oh, I'm definitely dead now. Oh, no, they didn't spot me again. But elsewhere on the map, this fight is breaking out. This is actually on Military Island, on the far south, this lone compound south of the military base. Frozen, I think no, he's not here by himself. He does have a teammate in the form of Wolf. They're stalling right now for the rest of the backup to come. And here comes the backup. A nade from Guizao does not land. And it is a 4v4.
कल रात को ही करेंगे, ठीक है?
Nextria does have
9:30 something या 10 बजे तक नहीं
Frozen's
आएंगे.
gonna be trying to find those angles here. Frozen and Nextria currently in 4th position with 70 points. That's a team that's gonna be looking to close that gap even more to 1st place, as they are 20 points behind. If they could get 4 points here right off the bat without losing anybody, it would be absolutely wonderful for this team. You can see Deathball is currently holding off great angles for this team. It's making the push a lot harder, as Obscure, the knock player from Deathwolves, is trying to see if he can possibly get picked up. It's going to be a tough one, though, if they do end up trying to pick up, as Deathwolves is just expecting a full-on push here by Nextria.
Yeah, I know Deathwolves is a more inexperienced team compared to some of the rosters here, but I love how they're not going for this revive. They're waiting and waiting and waiting. They want to establish maximum pressure on the defense first before they go for that revive, but unfortunately one of them gets caught and that player goes down. And now this should be the go-ahead for Nextria to start pushing it.
And Frozen rotating around, being able to get those angles, and here we go, the push from Nextria. Now 2 players from Deathwolves are gone. It's gonna be making it a little bit easier here for Nextria. They just need to make sure that they do this cleanly, as they don't want to end up losing any of the players from their team. Kai's gonna be on top of the roof. He's gonna try to get an angle here on this. Oh, is he gonna be able to do it? He's gonna be the last player alive too. Very low HP, and now everybody from Nextria is gonna recognize that, and it's gonna be easy pickings there for Nextria. 4 more points, helping them close the gap to 1st place. And Nextria, this is a team that's been very quiet. I feel like I personally been focusing a little bit more towards the top teams that have been popping off here and there. But Nextria, quiet and surely, they're climbing up that leaderboard. I mean, currently within the top 4, definitely what you want to be after the halfway point of this tournament.
Yeah. Quiet and consistent so far for Nextria, and yeah, they have been establishing their presence just match after match with, not huge performances, but definitely getting the points when needed. Alpha 7 now, this is the top dog. They are not on military base. You can see that right there on the mini-map. They are south of Milta Power. Getting into engagement with Smoke Gaming here. I think they were looking for a boat rotation across, and they ended up running into a different team here. So now they're kind of forced into this fight. New circle pops, and it is going to military base.
And it could be a bit of an awkward fight here for Alpha 7, as they are currently split on a 2-1-1. There you go. One of the players is going to end up backing up. CARYA still going to be staying there. Smoke Gaming trying to get an off angle. If Myth is able to get this spot, it's going to be tough for Alpha 7, as now they just have a lot more angles to worry about. And Smoke Gaming is putting the pressure here on Alpha 7. Alpha 7, we wanted to see what they were going to be able to do, how they're going to be able to react. One of the players there from Smoke Gaming is going to get knocked. Nino is going to be making the push here on CARYA. CARYA is going to get knocked and eliminated. Not looking good here for Alpha 7, as they cannot afford to lose more players. They want to be able to keep on building the gap.
Nino once again continuing to win those close quarter fights,
not only against CARYA, but also against Revo.
Yeah, Yeah, I thought Alpha 7 was on the same page when he pushed right in, but his teammate hung back. It doesn't matter though, he finds a trade with a grenade. Now it's back down to a 2v2. This is like a straight up chess match. One player or one team reacting to what the other one's doing. 2v2, and it looks like Alpha 7 has the advantage. The other player lost his vehicle, I think, because he's running out in the wide open from that wizard tower, and he makes it across, which is great, but it's still a 2v1 close range. McGrellin not able to get the knock, and Smith finds, or Myth finds the angle, finds the shot. Mafioso down to 1 HP, and it is the blue zone that is coming into play now.
And Mafioso trying to heal up. I see you mentioning he's currently 1 HP. He's going to pump out that DBS. Can he connect here? Is he going to be able to hopefully pick up his teammate and win this fight? But guess what? It's 2 players now from Smoke Gaming. Mafioso trying to take on everybody, and he's not going to be able to. And you can see Alpha 7, even though the fans were clapping, the players are starting to feel a bit of a pressure. That gap is gone. They don't have the cushion of the points anymore. And this is when we need to see a response from Alpha 7. If they continue on this trend, they're not going to be in first place for much longer, as Reject, IHC, and Next Ruya are looking to hum them down. And talking about some of the other teams that need to continue on the consistency of points, Team Falcons trying to take a fight here with Nova Esports.
Falcons top, running straight in, clearing everything really quickly. Pops that first aid, and here comes Paraboy close range with a nade, and he's not going to finish the first aid. Top saw an opportunity when Paraboy was holding that nade. Unfortunately, he misses that first couple of shots with the DBS, and he will go down. Falcons down to just the solo of Nerzed. Nerzed on the bridge, probably looking to just bridge camp, maybe get one elimination there. But as far as I can tell, no other teams are coming in from that side. IHC go out too, I think, to D+ on that north side, right near the edge of blue zone. Maybe IHC still has 1 or 2. We know they lost one very early on. So we'll see in a second who's still up. But everyone else pretty much on military base and looking to play the rest of the match out.
And the person with that whistle in the stand has some lungs, because they've been going at it non-stop, and a team that's looking to take advantage here of the non-stop action is going to be Rejects. Rejects currently inside the circle. A team that's wanting to close that gap even more. They'll be happy if they can end up taking first place after this match. REGNUM CARYA now getting into a fight there with Royals of War. Royals of War was a bit handicapped, and REGNUM CARYA is going to end up winning this engagement. One player is still alive from Royals of War. We don't know where though. And you were right, IHC does end up getting eliminated. And what could happen here if Next Ruya continues on a good performance, Rejects too? These point gaps that we were having earlier are starting to disappear, Shute, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, all for it as well. D+ will pick up the last player of HFIYS. HFIYS are eliminated. And yeah, looking at the right-hand side, Rejects with only 3, they can still get a big game. The big thing, though, is Next Ruya, who have 4 players up and 4 eliminations already. Plus, they're already on the military base in a decent position. This could be the big one for them to really start catching up.
It could be the big one, and they need some big ones too. I feel like they were in the position that Team Falcons was in that last match. Rejects now on the elimination feed, being able to knock some players from Boom. Can they convert that into points, because they are wanting to get those points, especially with what's currently offering to them. Zebra Masters is going to be on that roof. They're going to be looking to see if Boom is going to be pushing them. Boom is going to try to reset themselves after Reject did end up knocking one of their players. For all of the teams from 10 to 15 that are currently alive, this is a great opportunity. And look at that, Boom Esports connecting with the grenade right there on Zebra Masters. And Zebra Masters trying to see if they can reset, but they need to be careful, as Frenzy from Boom Esports is going to try to connect with some more grenades. Now they're going to have the high ground, but they're not going to be able to do much with it for Boom, as Rejects is still up on that radar. They're still going to have so many angles on this fight that if Rejects can somehow third party this, steal some eliminations without having to push down, they will be so happy.
Yeah, Rejects actually did already steal one of them, as they got the member that got naded from Zebra Master. So Rejects, you can see up to 2 11 points now. Pick up probably a couple more.
They will remember that they have a chicken dinner for a reason. क्या मतलब है इस बात का?
Because Rejects are looking dead right at them. New zone is about to shift as well. We'll see very soon which way it will go.
ऐसे बोल सकते हैं
Usually,
कि
Super
they are on
Masters
a
are the
league
ones
for
that
a
are
reason.
good with that utility,
For a
but
reason
Boom is
क्या
also trying to send a statement here. They're wanting to remember everybody that they have a chicken dinner for a reason, and here comes the push on Super Masters.
criticizing
Boom,
someone,
Tumbit,
yeah,
trying to
मेरा
find that
personal
player
opinion
on the
है.
smoke. They're
यानी कि
fully
कभी-कभी
sending it, kind of leaving themselves a little bit too exposed. They're not able to find the player here. They're going to know where he's at. Can he connect with his shot? Very low HP, and they're able to find him through the smoke, but that is not the last one there for Zebra Masters. There's still one more player alive. We don't know where. He ran away with it. But Boom Esports should be happy here with being able to get this knocks. Now, can they convert into eliminations? Or is Reject all the way from Radar gonna catch some of these players from Zebra Masters knock?
If Rejects is looking this way, they could have caught one right there. The player crawling wide in the open. Yeah, the last member of Zebra Masters did rotate in to the compound. That's the new center of the zone. It's the radio station right below the radio tower there. Smoke Gaming coming in here on the northeast side, running into D+. D+, with one player knocked right now. They still have a couple players to work with. They have 3 up. Smoke looking to try and reset a little bit, but look at that player on that minimap. Go to the high ground, catch that angle from the very top. And oh, it's actually 2 players. They're driving in. They're swooping in from the backside. And that is Myth going down. Smoke Gaming
RIP that weapon.
Great play by D+, now putting their tally all the way up to 7 eliminations. They'll definitely be climbing up this leaderboard. They're going to be trying to pick up their teammate right there. Oh, that was a little bit sketchy. I was wondering what he was going to try to do. Maybe put him a little bit in the circle, but he's so low that you have to go for that pickup. Team Falcons did end up getting eliminated. Nova is still alive with all their 4 players. So many teams that need to take advantage of this game right here as some of the top teams are being eliminated. Man, anything can happen. One team that we really haven't gotten a chance to hear much about ever since they win in the first match, Vampire Esports. They have all their 4 player lives. I feel like Vampire Esports is playing very careful, but luckily for them, when we do end up showing the circle, they're sitting smack down the middle of it, so they could take full advantage of this.
Yeah, Vampire with 4 up in a great spot. We'll see how far they can get as D+ will continue on their warpath, running straight into S2G now. Boom rotating in after they finish that fight, and it looks like they're trying to catch out the last member of Zebra Masters. S2G with the Razy with the big nade, catching 2 of D+, 2 for 1 special. And surely S2G is going to pump the aggression up, and yeah, they're driving straight in. Evil Knievel up onto that hilltop with the bike, gets the high ground, gets the high angle, and D+ is absolutely decimated.
I think D+ got a little bit carried away there with the momentum that they were carrying. They saw S2G nearby. They said, we'll take the fight. That grenade stopped them right in their tracks from Razy. Now Rejects has heard that fight happening. I wonder if Rejects is going to be doing something here to this team's. STG gonna try to back off in that smoking vehicle. Always such a sketchy thing to do, man. I feel like people get away with things so much sometimes. When I hop in a smoking vehicle, I feel like it gets blown up as I blink. Some people get away with it.
RC ने अगर backhand side से backstep नहीं किया,
it's all about the timing.
तो
Boom has moved into the radio station. New zone pops up, and I think radio station is dead center now. Yep, radio station is. Vampire still in the zone. Rejects can still use that radio tower, and Rejects with 3 players up there can definitely nab a couple more elimination games.
We could end up seeing a new first place team. We haven't seen a change since the beginning of this tournament, of this main event. It's only been Alpha 7 that...
देखो मेरा तो मन था पूरा मैं वॉइस ही बंद कर दूं, क्योंकि मैं उधर से, मैं स्ट्रीम से नहीं सुन रही हूँ, मैं दूसरी साइड से सुन रही हूँ आवाज़, अपनी स्ट्रीम से बिल्कुल नहीं सुन रही हूँ मैं. ऑर्डर फालतू का गया उधर. भाई ऑडियंस ऐसे चिल्ला रही है भाई.
Some points, you can see them right there on the leaderboard.
कब भाई
7th place.
इंटरनेशनल
It's not
टूर्नामेंट
too
इंडिया
late
में
for
हो
them
गया.
either.
If they could get a
Host
huge
country
game in
India
here
हो
with
गया,
their
मजा
4
आएगा.
remaining players.
Yeah, all of these teams trying to take advantage of what's given to them. Paraboy trying to find some more of a difference distance between himself and REGNUM and CARYA. He does not want this close range. Even though he was able to clutch it up earlier with Top, Top wasn't low held. But now REGNUM CARYA having to do a little bit of shimmy, having to dance around, as now they're getting the attention of just about everybody. Not only Nextria, Vampire could end up being the ones to third party them as well if Nextria ends up disappearing. And on top of that, you have Rejects on top of that tower.
पता है क्या मजाक से हट के आया इसकी बहुत अच्छा
does end up happening. Vampire esports against Nextria. Players are going back and forth. They're trading them around. Nextria with the height advantage. It should be an easy cleanup here as it is going to be 3v1. Only Soul is the one alive. Now it's going to be actually only Tony K in the smoke. And that is an easy cleanup right there for Nextria against Vampire esports.
तो बहुत अच्छा डिसीजन था पता है.
Big pickup for Nextria. Vampire esports that
सोचा भी होगा कि ये रिजल्ट ऐसा रहेगा क्योंकि ज़्यादातर लोग वही थे कि आईसी अच्छी जगह चला गया. बट वो ये कि थोड़ा बैठने में टाइम लगा है. और मुझे लगता है कि
it was an isolated fight. Now S2G is here looking over, but the fight's already done, and Nextria gets that full reset to Nextria back up to 4. S2G with 4. We have 3 teams with 4 players still up this late into the game, and we only have 5 teams left actually, and it is only going to stage 6.
Doubt में है वो कि ऊपर बनेगा सर्कल या नहीं.
Learning from the mistakes there of Vampire. I agree with what you were saying there. I felt like they should have had a little bit more of a spread out situation there for Vampire esports. They just got caught by surprise, and look at this circle. Okay, Reject, you are set. Boom, you're set. REGNUM CARYA trying to find a push here with what they're trying to do. And on top of that, you have S2G now trying to find some angles there towards the top of that radar, seeing if they could possibly surprise some of the players from Reject. Yeah, I think Reject was able to spot him.
Yeah, Rejects should be fine here. No team can actually push up to the top here at this point, unless if they do some wild rotation where they go into the blue and then drive up to the top, but that's not going to happen. But hopefully for Rejects, they get the next zone, right? Because if the zone shifts off of them, which there is a high chance it will, they have to pretty much drive off the mountaintop and just full send it down and hope they don't get blown up. But let's see if they can pick up more elimination points before being forced to do so. The next big team that needs to make a play is Nextria. You can see there, they are not in this next circle, and they have a tough time right now to find a way in, even with 4 players up.
We've seen crazier thing happens, and I wouldn't be surprised if Reject at one point does end up sending a car over that mountain. It would be insane, but I'm all for it. You know what? I like insanity sometimes whenever it is given to us. And yeah, with SCG, I don't think that we're going to be sending anybody into that zone. If they would have, I would have been pleasantly surprised. I just wanted to get a little bit closer and make it harder for Reject to get some angles there on them, as they are towards the south of Reject's Nextria, trying to find their way in. Boom. If you're Boom at this point, what do you end up doing? Do you just keep on doing what you're doing and hope that Rejects are going to be taking those shots onto the players that are going to be pushing towards them?
जो फाइट चल रही है उसको बताओ. वरना फालतू चीजें मत बताओ. बिल्कुल भी जिस बात का सर ना पैर.
If they get crashed up straight, so that's why Boom is holding more of a
एक
spread
जिंदगी
still
में चैन नहीं है कॉल पे कॉल सारा. मैं नहीं उठा रही.
They know they have a opportunity here with other teams over the top to kind of rely on them for support, and Nextria knows that too, because Nextria has 4, but they're not full sending in compounds. They're trying to work the outside to see if they can find any openings, but I don't think they know that REGNUM CARYA on the outside has 4 players up.
I think they're going to be finding out here. Reject, there you go. This is what I was expecting to see Reject do, and this is what we were all expecting for Rejects to do, which is third party anybody, gatekeep anybody that's going to put themselves super exposed. And I'm glad that S2G did end up working that out. They were able to get close enough to the point that Reject, it's going to be super tough for Reject to find an angle on them. They're going to have to expose themselves a little bit too much. And now S2G is going to be able to possibly start picking up some of these fights too. Start possibly causing some damage on those teams pushing up. There you go. When you overextend a little bit too much, Reiji, you will get spot. Duelo. Oh, Duelo, you're feeling risky? Are you going to want to push this out?
I don't think he's going to. I think he's gonna end up winning a little more. They're just gonna let them know, hey, we know that you guys are there. You know what? Let's make a peace treaty. Unless you guys don't want to, then we're gonna have to send it to you.
जरूर आएगा कि इसमें या तो उसको
I
नीचे
love the
कूदना
way
पड़ेगा.
Rejects are playing this. They always leave
नीचे वालों का हमेशा
Regioso
advantage
to
होता है
do
इसमें यार.
his own thing, because I think Regioso does have, probably the most accurate shot, the most, mechanical long-range player on the team, because he's always in these long-range positions by himself, while the rest of the team focus on, more immediate potential threats. So Rejects do have a great system going on. Each player really knows, what their role is at any given moment, and I think that's why we see Rejects, having so much success, as the tournament goes on. And after they pressured out S2G, they realized, okay, they can't come up. We're okay here. Now they're all going back up to the top and focusing elsewhere. And the best thing yet for them is that they do get some of the next circle.
They do get the circles. We know what Reject can do whenever they do end up getting blessed by that circle. Meanwhile, REGNUM CARYA, one of their players, trying to get an angle there, waiting for Reject player to just stay still long enough. All they need is just half a second, and they're gonna end up knocking you. Meanwhile, Regioso trying to spot those players from next to you. Even if you give him just a little bit, he's gonna start taking those shots. He's gonna start putting up that pressure on you. Seawolf currently within that smoke, and he knows that he cannot push up just yet, as Frozen is currently starting to get shots on himself as well. Meanwhile, boom, while all of this is happening, while Seawolf is trying to push up, as Frozen is trying to find an angle to hide as well, Boom Esports are just chilling. They're doing exactly what they need to do. Do not overextend, just wait for the right time. Let all these teams in the hilltop take care of things, and that's it. Oh, you know what? Boom saying, maybe we'll get a little bit into that action. Maybe we'll knock some players as they start throwing grenades and hopefully try to stop next Ria from pushing closer and closer to them.
I love how Regioso spotted that S2G player at the last thing, like, wait a second, these are my points here, shooting at the distance, get back down there. And there we go, next Ria, not able to get much further, will get taken out. And I love what Boom did right there, use that vehicle, even if for just a couple of seconds. It's always faster than running on B, and he has some hard cover now. And S2G, I don't think they can climb up any higher, but they have been getting uncomfortably close to the side of Rejects right now, just looking up and down. There's a team on their north, a team on their south, all getting really close by, but they should be okay from up here still.
Yeah, for Duello, you're trying to see if you don't want to end up sliding off. And S2G, I mean, right now, this is what they wanted to do. They're going to be willing to take some damage from the blue zone if they can get a little bit closer, get the angle even harder for Reject. And ultimately, the closer and closer that they do end up getting to Reject, the harder it is going to be able for Reject to get those shots on S2G. And I think that's why earlier we didn't even see them they were able to spot some players from S2G, from Reject, but it was just going to be hard to take those pushes. And here we go, Sarah now making a jump down. They know that REGNUM CARYA players are going to be here. If he can connect on these two players whenever they do end up picking, that'll be massive points for this team. A team that's trying to take that first place. After this match from Alpha 7 for the first time, could we have a leader change? We'll have to wait and see. It's looking good here for Rejects though with this circle. But once it starts closing in, it's going to be a lot tougher, Sute.
Yeah, I think Sarah right there really recognizes that there's two players that's going to be caught out of the next zone as it closes in, so he's going to get a little bit more over aggressive and risk getting knocked himself, but he definitely needs to do this, not let the two members in for free, but the smokes will be good. That is a good smoke path right there as REGNUM CARYA bring their two other members closer into this next circle. And we are going into that circle 9, right? And that's where Rejects loses all of their advantage, because they have furthest to go to try and get to the center. And the blue will start pushing them out first. And we have to keep in mind, Boom is still in this as well. This four-way fight is getting more and more difficult now for every team involved.
Boom is in this, but they're gonna have to push out of those buildings that they were in. You can see them have to pay for it, as well as Reject. You mentioned Sarah being able to spot those two players earlier. Guess what? There goes one knock. Can he convert that into elimination? And he's gonna switch to the other player there from REGNUM CARYA, trying to see if he can get that knock. He's gonna be able to spot Wild 77K. Easy knock for him. Great angle right there by him, and confirming Silas into an elimination point.
Yeah, Sarah, one-man team right here, handling the entirety of REGNUM CARYA. He's not done with the last player, but Blue Zone is closing in. He's going to bide his time. And for Rejects, they can actually do they have control of the center? this mountain juts out quite a bit. Regioso might be near center, or more near center than all the other players right now, but hold that thought, as S2G, Hamzi, right over the top. Regioso did hear the player, he's cooking the nade. Can he cook it to perfection? But Hamzi peeks out with that DBS, no longer is that nade in hand. He might have to just take the gunfight.
Gonna have to take that gunfight. Rage also getting a little bit lucky there as Hamzy did end up missing some shots. The grenades are gonna be coming through. The battle of the mountain goats is what I'm gonna be calling this one, because boy, it is such a tough situation, such a tough terrain to be taking those fights too, considering that you could possibly end up getting shot from some of the other players that are still alive from the other teams. We still have 4 teams. This is the crazy part. Okay, there you go. At least one of them is gone. REGNUM CARYA does end up getting eliminated with 7 eliminations. Sarah able to make it all the way down. He's probably gonna be able to spot the player there from Boom. And he might be able to, if he can connect there with the player from Boom, he's going to be able to switch his focus to some of the other players from S2G that are making Regioso's life a little bit tougher.
Ooh, Sar really needed that one. That would have been a great point, but he might actually see some of the players on top. And look at this quick wing peek to the right and to the left. He catches one. The mechanics coming in now. Sara getting low from that grenade, and his teammate Regioso goes down. It is now a 3v1 situation. Rejects will not get the chicken dinner. It will be S2G instead, finally showing up with their, I believe this is their first chicken dinner. 11 eliminations, almost 2,000 damage. Big game for S2G, but I think the main takeaway here is the Rejects team have just now, pretty sure, taken that #1 spot away from outside.
They should end up taking that #1 spot, not just with the placement points, but also with the elimination points. And that man right there, Sarah, what a performance. What a pop-off performance. Yeah. Not only with the rotation that he was doing, with the risk that he was willing to take, but overall, what you want to see out of a team that's challenging for that first place, and more than likely we will end up seeing them there in that first place. And a team that everybody's been wondering what's been going on with them, S2G finally showing up as well. Sute getting that chicken dinner. The ultimate play was for them to get as close as possible to that mountain, make it so Reject wasn't able to shoot them. And boy, you couldn't ask for anything better from S2G.
Yeah, S2G played that pretty much as best as they could, really becoming one with the mountain goat, like you said. And I've never seen a finish like this where teams are constantly just battling on top of this mountaintop, trying to climb up and down, up and down. And this 1v1 pretty much was crucial. If Regioso won that peak, he gets the high ground over the 2 players at the bottom, and Sara and them could have pinched in, but the fight was decided right there. When Regioso lost, I believe it was Hamzi that got the advantage peak and took that one out.
Yeah, I think in all the years that I've been doing PUBG Mobile Esports, which is quite a lot now, that might be the first time I've seen players towards the end of the match fighting within that mountain. So you know, there's always new scenarios here in PUBG Mobile Esports.
Usually the circle shifts just